Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Death's Curios, and welcome back to our new episode. So a lot's going to happen in this one, no doubt. There's going to be a hell of a lot happen. There's a lot that happened last week, which I will introduce as soon as we've introduced all of our wonderful players. Before then, I just wanted to make sure to say hello to all of you this evening, and to let you know that it's going to be quite the time today. So I'm going to throw you over to a quick message about our sponsors, this wonderful channel, and then we'll be getting right on with our game ASAP. So I'll be back in just a moment. See you soon, everybody.
Before we begin today's show, I would like to take some time to remind you about our sponsors. Fantasy Grounds, our virtual tabletop of choice. All of the beautiful maps and roles you see tonight are done using Fantasy Grounds, which you can try for free at fantasygrounds.com. You can also get all of your miniatures from Wayland Games. Go to waylandgames.co.uk and get yourself a huge range of D&D, Warhammer and 40k minis for up to 20% off regular retail price. And Tabletop Loot, who sell incredible dice. Go and check them out at tabletoploot.com.
Tweet. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. So we're going to go around, we're going to introduce everybody, we're going to let you know who they're playing tonight, and then we'll be going and doing ourselves a little recap before we get into things. So I'm going to start over on this side with Dr. Varud. Let us know who you are and who you're going to be playing today, and let us know what you're feeling about today as well.
I'm Greybeard's Tavern, and today I'll be playing Dr. Varud, and the calm after this bloodstorm, and we'll see how this all shakes out.
Definitely. So we'll move over to Tilly Griffiths.
Hello, I'm Humble6. I'll be playing Tilly Griffiths, the ace detective, who is, definitely experienced a crisis last session where her emotions ran high, and I think she swore for the first time in 2 seasons, but it was well deserved. There was a fountain it was a fondue fountain. It was ruined, and the person who ruined the fondue fountain technically got away. It was very frustrating and just all around terrible. So ready to continue on that trend really tonight. Should be good.
So brilliant. Magdelena, I'm just sorting that issue out now for those of you who aren't seeing the video. I'm just quickly dealing with that. But Magdelena, let us know who you are. What are you playing today? How are you feeling about all that happened last time?
Oh my gosh. I have a feeling today's episode is going to be Magdalena's spectrum of many emotions. But I don't know for sure, so it'll be interesting. I hope I still have a house and a dad and a chicken boy. But we'll find out. And though the fondue fountain, I wouldn't say ruined. It might need a thorough washing before you use it again. But it's not broken.
Yeah, it's not broken. You can always do something about that, I'm sure.
I mean, if you don't want it, Magdalena will take it.
There you go.
She'll really wash it as thoroughly. It's fine.
And we'll find out today if Magdelena is in the need of real estate. So speaking of real estate, Delilah, a lot happened at your house last time. How are you feeling?
Someone ruined my party. This isn't the first time someone's boyfriend has stormed into my party and made a colossal debacle, but they ruined my fondue fountain, which Ned got for me, and you can have it. It is ruined forever now. It doesn't matter if you get the stains off. There's blood all over it. Have it. I'll get a new one. It has been ruined.
Indeed it has, but
Delilah Berkeley, she is having... I wouldn't say she's having an existential crisis. She's more focused on the part where her family name, her husband's family name, is being dragged through blood, and, the police are currently looking through this entire thing. And their family has many secrets, so this is not the best part. She's not had the best time with police, so she's hoping today she'll, make a convincing plea to the police to be like, we're innocent of this, because why the hell do I want this? At most, I want a big orgy, not this. No. Like, absolutely
Very
not.
different.
Yeah, like,
Lilith approves.
yeah, of course Lilith approves. That, and, she's basically just turning away from the trauma, make sure to make everything is good, forget about everything that just happened. It's too much to deal with. But yes, please go ahead,
Indeed it
have my
is.
fondue fountain.
Definitely will. And speaking of fondue fountain, last episode, our group here came back from the Britannia Theatre where they had had a deadly encounter with cultists before they arrived back and started to attend the last parts of the New Year's ball that was being held at the Berkeley estate. Delilah's husband was hosting and was to deliver his speech as Magdelena and Tilly arrived back, and indeed he did, but whilst delivering the speech, Magdelena noticed someone in the crowd, someone very familiar, someone whose suit matched that cultist's head in particular. She managed to notice Archibald, her lover, of quite a while by now, who came to her and spoke to her, and she spoke of cults to him, and he didn't seem so shocked, more like he didn't really have much to hide from her, and then he revealed his plan. He said that he has been given a task by his mother of sorts that was to collect a certain dagger and set in motion a few things to plot the downfall of parts of London, especially the monarchy, it seems. After which, he unveiled his plans. The high society that was in attendance at the party began to act strange, their inhibitions all taken, as some of them began to eat pieces of each other, and others were merely watching. It was quite the bloody and gruesome scene, as the rest of our detectives came in and saw it just in time, and decided that they would rather leave than deal with this, as they reported it to the police and left next door to Lord Marriott's estate, where they held out the storm, so to speak. The police came in and arrested the nobles that were in attendance, taking them out and leaving the Berkeley estate completely empty at the moment. Our detectives went next door and began to discuss their plans, and Magdelena decided she needed to go home, as she heard and all of them felt a massive explosion from below them, the dish that holds Upper London being shook to its very core, as Lower London had part of it seemingly turned to dust. And that's where we left off. Magdelena, you wander through the streets, beginning to make your way home. You do see the mass amounts of smoke billowing out from underneath the edge of the horizon that you can see of the city as it pours out from under and over the place itself. You recognize where the smoke is coming from. It is near your house, you think. You don't know the condition of your house right now, still in Upper London, but you see there is a heavy, very heavy contingent of what seems to be the Death Watch in the streets, even as you wander now.
I saw some... Did I see some vampire members of the Death Watch?
You saw guards. You saw the special contingent of Death Watch that are specifically used by the Lovell Society, but they aren't these ones.
Okay, yeah, she's going to keep her eyes out for those as she's walking through, just to make sure everything's on the up and up. Just go to my house.
And you wander through the streets, trying to have things go mostly without incident. Can you give me a shadow as you try and pass through the many different streets that you have?
Yes, I can do that. Let me get my character sheet and zoom in because I am blind, because I don't wear contacts today. Okay.
Oh no.
I forgot them because I was gardening. That's okay, I am the knight of the 17.
Indeed, you are on a 17, so you blend in to the darkness and the shadows. You weave between them as the rain pours upon Upper London, not dousing the fires below due to the fact that it covers most of the lower city. The fires still blaring below, the smoke still pouring as you make your way towards the access lifts to Lower London itself. You find them all shut down as you arrive, none of them currently descending. You see contingents of Death Watch around there. and you see that they seem to be very heavily armed and guarding the entrances. They don't seem to be letting anybody down into the lower city right now. They don't see you, however, as you stay at a distance watching them. As you see the sort of dark-garbed, heavily armored, and heavily armed Death Watch members stood at full attention and in full force in the city, a rare sight to see. Usually they stay at the outskirts, but whatever this is has brought them in.
Yes. So, do I know, because I'm a very shady person, any other ways down to Lower London? Besides the lifts? Is there like a really shitty stairwell?
Could you give me a streetwise check, please?
Oh, yeah, I can roll just 2d10.
And also, Lindy, you still do have a crit, just to remind you. It just isn't showing for some reason. It's not a bang.
Yeah, it's fine. That's fine.
But we know in our spirits and our hearts.
I know. 4. I don't know of any shitty stairwells.
You think about the streets and all you think is, damn, I always take the lift.
Lift. she would too. That's the worst part.
Your only way you know is falling, and it's a long distance, and you, even with your reflexes, would definitely splat.
Yeah. That's a lot of fall. Ugh. Even if I took a mortal and threw them underneath me and landed on them, I don't think they'd break my fall enough. I'd have to throw a lot of mortals, and then that would... she thinks about it. She was once locked up in the tower in Transylvania after, starting a war with Turkey. And she just kept throwing servants out until it was safe to jump. But she realizes that plan won't work here, so...
Not quite. The peasant's cushion will not work in this case.
Unfortunately. I guess she's going to approach the most amenable-looking Deathwatch. And by amenable, I'm thinking she's a vampire. She's like, which is the weak gazelle in the herd?
So, could you give me a very quick wit check, please?
I can.
As you look over the 5 members currently in attendance.
Would this be considered a sight-based wit check?
It certainly would be, as you're looking with your eyes.
21.
On a 21, you look over them, and the Death Watch are an elite squad of people meant to fight out anything that is to come into the city. They are on a strict regimen, and all of them are the cream of the crop and incredibly well-trained, armored, and armed. They are a risk even to vampires.
I know. She's not happy about this. She's like, but I got to get down. Is there like a railing? Can she look over?
There is a sort of large railing that surrounds the platform that is lowered. But they are all surrounding that area and on it.
Okay, well, she sees no other choice but to have to try to be cordial to these people. So she's going to, I think she goes to a puddle in the alleyway she's in and musses up her hair a bit. And not too much. She wants to look like distressed noblewoman. And then comes over and she'll come over and in a rush, distraught.
And immediately as you begin to approach, you see 2 of them walk towards the entrance to the gateway
and helpless
and
as
stop
possible.
and stand ready. Both of them still guns drawn. Their Magwitch revolvers, and one of them having their Reaver out. Not aiming at you, but held in hand as they just watch you approach.
Excuse me, are the lifts working? I desperately need to go down to my house.
The lifts are working, ma'am, says the one with the revolver. However, we're not allowing anybody down right now or up. You felt the explosion, I assume everybody here did. We're currently blocking down Lower London and ensuring that none from Higher London make it down there, or vice versa. Do not worry, within a day or 2 we'll have it covered. We'll have it cleared, and your regular police will be taking back over with jurisdiction in this city. But until then, we are on lockdown.
This is most dreadful. My house is down there.
We do have barracks, and as well as hostels throughout the city in the Upper London district that you can stay at. Perhaps you can find an associate. Please, move along.
Do know some people. Perhaps I could just stand by railing and see if my house still stands.
Give me a very quick charm check, please.
Okay. Not Lilith, so I'm not amazing at this. Would you say these guys are compatible though?
I'd say you're not flirting with them. So,
Yes, but it's
so they currently are not bothered
Oh.
about your wiles.
Okay.
Duty
'Cause I know it's not a
before anything
seduction,
else.
but I do
with the Death
have
Watch.
one that's for just charm checks in general.
Mhm.
So she's
they
trying
don't
to play
care.
the helpless maiden. Oh, gross. Okay. Let's try it then. Good rolls. A 13? That's not bad.
They look between each other, and the one with the revolver sort of puts his gun away in its holster and looks over to the rest of them on the platform, which you can see the other three sort of stood milling about. One of them sat on a couple of crates of something, as he nods. I'll take you over to it, and you can have a look over whilst I observe you.
Thank you.
Any funny moves, and we have jurisdiction to take lethal action. Please keep
Oh
that in
no,
mind.
I just want to see if I can perhaps see if it still stands.
Of course, I doubt that it will come to that with
Great
yourself. Well,
distress.
please
Yes,
follow,
and
he
she'll
says, and
follow
lead you in.
him.
And over to the railing, which you can see out and below through the sort of big tunnel that leads down.
And I look,
And you do
I look
see
for my
smoke
house.
billowing still. And could you give me a very quick check with perception for your look for your
Yes.
house?
Yes. Give me another 21. Come on. 14.
On a 14, you look to where the area is that you believe your house is, and you see that the smoke is mostly billowing from around that area.
Oh.
But you do see, in the form of sort of the ash and fog that is currently billowing out, the form of at least half of your house jutting out.
Okay. Okay. She goes, I think I see at least half of it. It's hard to tell with all the smoke.
I
Thank
see.
you, though. It is good to know that it is not a complete loss.
Yes, ma'am. He
Thank
says,
you
and
for
seems
your
to hold back saying
hard-
something else before, but not.
Mm.
I hope
Thank
whatever
you
it is
for your-
down there, that none of loved ones are in the disaster zone, ma'am.
Yes, my father is down there, and my young ward as well. But
If you let us know who they are, what their names are, we can send some people down to check on them. We're currently running a sweep through the lower city.
all right. Well, my young ward's name is Cooper.
Any more details now? That's a rather common name.
Yeah, he is. He also answers to Chicken Boy.
You see
very
him
good
tilt his
chicken.
head slightly as if questioning, what the fuck?
He has many chickens and is
He is a
affectionate
boy, I
nickname.
understand.
Yes. So that is. He's about. She'll describe him. He is tall.
Yeah, he seems to
brownish
just listen.
hair,
Very well, ma'am. I'll
and he
get a
should be
message
in the
down to
care
our
of
boys on
his
the ground.
nursemaid Irene.
Irene, we'll keep an eye on it.
Mm.
And which house did you belong to? Where are you in the city?
The DeVille house.
See, the famous portrait artist.
Yes, that is
Well,
me.
it's a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you.
The arts elude
Thank
me,
you
but
for
I've
your-
heard good.
Hard work and protecting the city.
Of course, ma'am. It is what we do when we need to.
Thank you. And she gives a little, like,
And you. He
curtsy.
says and nods
and
at you.
goes back, and she's just, the smile goes into like more of a snarl as she walks away. Looks stupid. They've leased out the houses. They don't have to check when the smoke's more. God, stupid. But Archibald's house is up here, isn't it?
It is.
I'm just gonna walk on by there.
And you begin to walk your way through the streets, dejected that you can't get in or down.
It's more
to
like
lower
an
London.
angry stomp, but
And you stomp towards Archibald's house in the upper court.
if I stomp harder than the rest of Upper London will fall, and I can get down there that way.
And unfortunately, Upper London does not fall through your vicious stomps as you make your way towards your love's house. Meanwhile, at the Marriott estate, what are the rest of you doing?
I think. So I'm guessing that Miss Fairchild will be going up to see the children at this point.
Yes, Miss Fairchild has retired for the evening and said that they will be staying with the children.
Right. I don't really know if there's anything more we can do this evening besides get some rest. There's a very big part of me that does want to go and see if Lower London is all right, but there's
Even
only
through
so
the
much I
window,
can
you
do.
can see in the distance just smoke billowing out from one of the edges of London.
But I don't think I'll be of much use down there. It's quite obvious what's happened. Not really a mystery, is it?
No, not really.
Well, I'm probably going to retire then for the evening. If that's all right with you, Lord Marriott. Thank you for your hospitality.
Indeed, you're most gracious. I kind of look
It
up
is
from looking at
my responsibility, but yes, please get rest.
And Tilly will wait. Tilly will sort of follow any servant or any direction and just go to a room and probably just make some notes about like all the people that were there this evening at the Berkeley estate and see if there's like any sort of legal way they can get out of this. But she just wanted to do that away from people because she doesn't want to get anyone's hopes up right now. So.
Dr. Verrucht will take some notes on how exactly that woman was hooked to the fondue fountain and remained alive. That was
It's a medical miracle.
It was, and hence there's drawings and
You assume not
details.
long. They were definitely critically wounded and dying. They were on their dregs. They were surviving enough, but they will have died. Like,
okay,
yes.
all right.
Tilly, as you go back to your room, could you make me a quick law check for me, please?
$14.
On a 14, you have a think, and Lord Marriott did offer to give you an alibi. That will be good enough. Another lord giving you an alibi is usually enough for the law to look the other way, especially in situations as traumatic as this. The Burke police have been through a lot recently. You think that they will be more concerned with all of the people doing it, more so than they will be with the Berkeleys who hosted it. But it may put some dark twist upon the Berkeley estate's current household, and people may be wary of it. They may spin rumors in the streets, but at least in the courts, they will not do any such thing. They only operate on facts.
Yeah,
whether those be correct facts or not.
True. She's going to try and think more of a way to get the right information about what happened and about, like, lead the police to the right direction without having to give the detail that she was there necessarily. Or she wasn't necessarily a witness, but she has these things that she's found out. She's more trying to spin that story and use the alibi. She feels sick about it because she wants to tell the truth, but in this situation, it's probably not the best idea.
It's probably best not to.
She can recognize that, doesn't it?
So you consider that and you begin to plan ideas and ways of which you could give yourself culpable deniability whilst also having the facts. And that is what you spend a part of your evening doing as you hear the heavy rains hitting the manor's window panes, as you write your notes, as you stay in a rather lavish room, nonetheless smaller, but still very lavish and still big for somebody who stays in a normal house. It's got a comfortable bed and has all the amenities of a noble's house. You have the filters on the windows so that you don't have any smog pour in. It is a rather comfortable space, and you're left alone in the room. Doctor, what have you been up to?
After taking the notes and drawing a diagram of said fondue fountain, I guess he would list the other injuries that the individuals made upon themselves and maybe theorize. Sure.
Just to get all of your notes and your diagrams and everything bang on.
I am obviously
you're too obsessed with the images, and it was not good. You've seen horrors before, and you've lived them, and you've caused some. Yet they still stick with you. You're a human. That image isn't something that your brain as a human should really see. You're not affected in many ways, but it puts you off as you're trying to list the correct injuries, as you're trying to do your diagrams. Your mind is not settled. It's a traumatic event, despite your curiosity, and it's too fresh in your mind right now. Your
Makes
own brain
sense.
has begun to almost block some details away.
Maybe I would self-prescribe some laudanum and attempt to rest.
And you do so. Delilah, what would you be doing this evening?
Well, she'll be, presuming Lord Marriott provides them a room, she'll be tending to her very
course.
knocked out husband.
He's still
And,
cared as you take him to his room. The servants help you and carry them over.
And basically, she's going to think about the best thing she's going to say, which is literally tell the truth. She went upstairs to get changed and came down to that. With a bit of a spin, of course. So she's basically preparing to have deniability and thinking about.
And in the next door
possible
room,
ways
you
to
can
save
hear
her
the
name.
scribbling of Tilly as you're considering this deniability thing, as you're considering your alibis and the rest. Your husband is passed out still. He's tucked into bed and is comfortable. And you can just hear that ambient scratching of paper.
It's kind of calming, and honestly, she can't sleep. It's the minute she closes her eyes, it's just that scene over and over again. So, eventually, she's probably one of those like cute little Victorian nightgowns. She'll gather a little shawl around herself, and we'll kind of dip over to Tilly's room and just.
And you hear the rapping, Tilly, on your door.
Who is it?
It's Delilah. Mind if I come in?
Of course, yes. Yes. Gabriel, get off my papers. Go. Shoo. And she'll try and get herself in some semblance of order and sort of put her hands on her lap so she's not doing anything else. What can I do for you? Delilah.
Just kind of like, open the door, kind of step in. I couldn't sleep.
I do think that's an affliction you and I will share tonight. You are more than welcome to come and rest with me if you want. Although I am in work mode somewhat, which you might not want to discuss tonight.
Honestly, that might help. I'm trying to think of the best way to say or spin my truth. Because I did go upstairs and then came back to this. But I'm just worried, for Ned and his family. His family name means so much to him. With him, being the last of his.
Yes. Well, you do have the benefit of having Teddy, at least. So
Yes.
really, not the last at all. But I understand the sentiment. I've been working on ways to get the correct information of her without implicating ourselves necessarily. We want a certain amount of distance away from this and, well, don't exactly want to put a target on our backs, lawful or otherwise.
Yes. She kind of looks down at the floor. Do you see it too when you close your eyes? Just shuffles her feet a little.
I see many things when I close my eyes, Delilah. I can't unsee them. I can't untaste it. I can't unhear it. Come and sit. Don't shuffle and get cold.
Yeah, she does go and have a little seat and pull the shawl even just kind of closer. She kind of sighs.
Luckily for you, I think perhaps time and maybe a visit to the good doctor may dull the edges of that piece of broken glass, but you'll sleep soon. Do not fret.
Well, you have to understand fretting is a talent I've acquired ever since moving here.
Yes, it's a noble thing, or just a people thing. Fretting.
You think about it.
I don't like to fret myself. I like to do.
I was more of a doer back home as well, but here there's so many things you can't do, and so many things you need to do, and so many rules. You learn to fret when you live here.
It's a very British thing, I'm afraid. And if you're going to be one of us, maybe you do need to learn to fret after all. Oh, excellent tea, this. Raspberry.
Ooh. She smiles a little bit. You know, my favorite blend is actually raspberry, hibiscus, and rooibos tea. Hard to get these days, of course, but they're really good for your skin.
Not really put much thought into my skin. It's on my body and it keeps most things out. But,
Oh, come now. You're my cousin. If I didn't help you with your skincare, what type of cousin would I be? I'm awful when that is that.
Right. Do I have to help you with your skincare? Because your skin's excellent and I'm not really one for tips.
My personal trick is red perilla leaves. Looks like blood, but it's quite nasty tasting actually, but anti-aging effects, dear.
Well, if you're expecting to live long, I suppose that would be a thing you would think about. Sorry, with these recent times, you know, with the plague and Lower London exploding.
All the more important to look your best. So let's talk about something lighter and brighter. What do you think about our Mr. Not Morningstar?
What do you mean? Not Morningstar?
I mean, isn't the devil's last name Morningstar? I thought that was a
Yes. Well, it's Mr. Grimoire.
Grimoire.
I'm not really going to call him Morningstar, although I have called him Satan to his face a few times. He just finds it amusing, which puts me ill at ease, I'll admit. Perhaps I should read Bible quotes to him and see whether his skin burns.
That is a good plan for a second date. You know, usually I think poetry is more preferred, but Bibles, I mean, the English wield guilt like no one else. I imagine the Bible would work very well.
I could go to my first Sunday sermon in months.
If you're planning to take the devil to church for a second date, I recommend a better locale.
Well, there's probably a cathedral in the city somewhere.
Well, yes, but...
No, to be honest, while the religious iconography around Mr. Grimoire is rather amusing, and the occult has quite been the revelation for me over the last few months, I don't know if I want to know whether he actually is a devil or the devil.
Well, anything to get our minds off this. I think he would be a pleasant distraction, wouldn't you?
Well, then I've got to make the awful decision of whether I to introduce him to a dear friend of mine.
A friend of yours?
Yes.
She looks
Her
intrigued.
opinion means a great deal to me, and she was quite enthralled that I was going on a social outing. And I didn't really want to bring, if it were so, bring the devil to her doorstep, so to speak. So I don't really want to know at current. Does that make sense? Surely dating should not be this complicated.
It always is this complicated, dude. How many men do you think I've gone through before Ned?
And as you say that, meanwhile, with dating's complicated, Magdelena, you arrive outside the gates of your love, the other Dampier that you know of in the city.
Mm-hmm.
Archibald. You see the
It's just
large
the
gates
sword
in front of you
under
as
my
usual,
skirts.
the wrought iron of them and the spikes atop them, always looking ever so lovely and almost castle-esque in how his manners presented.
It's a nice house. I might have to move in if mine is demolished. Ooh, no, don't think about that yet. It's fine. Just deep breaths.
As you take your deep breaths, you find the gate creaks open. Left open, it seems, as usual for you.
Yes,
whenever
of course.
Archibald expects a visit.
Yeah, she would have expected no less. And she will stride on up.
And you stride up to the door, which opens just as your feet touch the final step towards his front door. It swings open, and inside you do see a beautiful gallery as usual. The floors perfectly cleaned, music from an unseen band playing across the brass, the strings playing. And you do see Archibald sat in one of his chairs, plush and cushioned, as he's sat with a glass of a red liquid, no doubt blood, as he sips and seems to already have a second glass ready for you and placed on the table.
She'll come in. Have a seat. And as she walks in, she is keeping her senses on high alert for any gun-wielding cultists or, I don't know, rival vampires. You know, like you do.
And you walk in, keeping your eyes about you, but nothing seems to be there. You merely see the sort of partition wall that has little holes in it where the band can play through, but not see the events that go on the other side. And you hear the music beautifully coming from within. A small orchestra almost playing for you. And Archibald sits in his chair. He's taken off his jacket at this point. His tie is looser, his top few buttons undone, and his shirt opened slightly as he sits relaxing with his slightly disheveled look and his peppers of grey hair.
Don't think about it. She's just
And
like...
he leans and takes another sip. It's good to see you again, Magdelena. I was wondering when you'd make your way here. Please.
I check out my house first. Did you feel that big
I did.
explosion
You know,
thing?
rather
You don't
strange
happen
thing,
to
wasn't
know
it?
anything about that, do you?
Heavens, no. Why would I care about the lower city in such a way? Besides that, I've had much more important things this evening, as I'm
Yes.
you're aware. You don't
Wit
need any
checking.
sort of insighty or wit
Okay.
check for this. He doesn't care about the lower city.
Yeah.
Never has.
Yes.
And he's,
Yeah.
you can tell he's telling the truth in this because there is
Okay.
not even a sense of deception there.
Okay. She goes, well, my
You can pass
house
this
is
on a
down
one.
there. Okay. So, but apparently they're not letting people down the lifts right now.
Oh,
But
dreadful.
I managed
Well,
to
you know-
peer through a bit, and I think half of it is at least still standing. I'll have to wait for the smoke to die down for the rest.
That would be good. If they go down, then the secondary source of food is gone. That would not be pleasant.
Exactly. It would be very bad.
We are living in a scarcity. Still, come, sit. I've ordered some special Italian for you.
And she'll sit down,
Been
give it a good...
keeping it in the cellar for around 3
Okay.
weeks at this point. It's very well fed. And he says, as you have the glass of blood sat on the table for you.
Sips it after verifying it's not
It indeed tastes
cultist
lovely.
blood.
And as usual, no garlic inside. Your allergies don't spark. You know, Archibald wouldn't feed somebody with a diet of garlic when you're coming to drink.
Yeah. And so she has some sips. She goes, so that you said that was the last step that needed to be completed?
One of, yes. There's a few other things ongoing, but my involvement right now is done, as you can see. I can enjoy my evening with you, as apparently Lower London burns and Upper London will soon follow in its own way. Though subtler, less fire, less disintegration.
Mm.
We need
I do
buildings,
enjoy
so we'll
fire
have to
and
get them to build
disintegration.
new ones. So,
So, aside from enjoying your evening, what are your plans now?
well, I plan to see you. I plan to see by the morning as to what has come of London and see how the next step goes. There are a few more to oversee, though my direct involvement is he sort of
You
lets
said this was the last step, Archie. How many more steps are there?
It is the last step, Magdalena, but it is one large step. Multiple parts to it. I have raised the heel. My foot has left the ground and now is perfectly positioned to slam back down. Soon there will be no more work, he says, and takes another drink, and I'll be free to do what I want. Which is you, of course.
She just takes a little sip of blood. Alright. Well, how long is this going to take? Just out of curiosity, because I am temporarily, it would appear, homeless.
Oh, dreadful. You know, Magdalena, you are never homeless whilst you're in this city, and my home is your home. Feel free to stay, to treat it as your own place.
I am mostly just worried about Chicken Boy. And the
He's
chickens.
fine, he says and takes another sip.
Well, we won't know that for sure until we can check on my house, but...
You're assuming at your house, Magdalena. I thought you knew better than just to assume such things. Such rambunctious creatures, are they not?
Children? I mean, generally, he does what he's told.
I mean your chicken boy. In particular, the slayer-to-be.
This is true. I am supposed to teach him to be a vampire hunter. I guess he could be out practicing hunting vampires.
He may be.
I'm gonna... She's trying to get, like... She doesn't think she told him this. So, she's wondering...
She definitely didn't tell him this. He's been away, been away for a while.
Archie... How did you find out he was supposed to be Vampire Slayer? I did not tell you this.
Oh. So you didn't. Takes another sip.
So who did tell you?
You don't think that I wouldn't have people who can tell me what you've been up to? I need to keep an eye on you. Make sure everything is fine. Make sure there's not too much danger.
Define
Especially
danger.
with your papa visiting. Bad things follow your papa, as you told me before. As we've all seen.
He's generally the bad thing. But it's so much bad. But yes, I did not know you had such concern for my well-being.
I have immense concern for your well-being, Magdalena. You are my light. In a world that has cast away from it most of the time.
Well, are you sure there is nothing I can do to speed up this process so that we can it has been a very bad day. I am sitting very uneasily. There are so many things you have not told me. And
as you say that, he leans across the table and runs his fingers just across your cheek and smiles as he places his hand just to rest gently upon it. And he looks in your eyes with those deep eyes of his, cold yet loving to you. We could have some fun and make this process happen so much quicker. If you think you've got the guts for it. He says, and he smiles lightly, knowing you do.
She looks slightly torn because she wants to be mad. She wants to be so mad. but at the same time, she's a sucker to a certain extent. She has daddy issues, and she can't help it. She hasn't worked them through yet with Dr. Verrucht, so I think she says, well, fine, but I have a lot more questions that I want you to answer in the morning.
I'll answer every question you wish for me to, my love. I won't hide things from you when you ask. Now come. You did say you wanted to be involved in cults, didn't you?
The thought has tickled my fancy a couple of times.
Then let me tickle that fancy further. Come. He says and stands, downing the rest of his glass of blood, placing it upon the side, and holding out his arm for you.
She'll take hers to go, but take his other arm.
And you do so. And he begins to lead you through his house. He leads you through the back, away from the orchestra, and down towards the back end of the house, where he opens a trapdoor underneath what seems to be a rug. He lifts it up, and it looks incredibly thick and heavy. No human could lift this, as his supernatural strength comes in handy as he hefts it up. And again, you see the sort of very working and bulging muscles of your love as he lifts it up and gestures.
I look away because I'm mad at him.
He seems to almost live on that madness as he gestures.
Which makes her more mad, but she can't help it.
If you really wish to see what's happening.
I do. And she'll down the stairs.
And you do so. And you go down, one stone step at a time. And he follows, dropping the hatch behind him. And you're plunged into darkness as your eyes adapt. And you begin to see stone-hewn tunnels underground, almost akin to a medieval dungeon. He leads you through, and you see very thick wooden doors, until he leads you around a corner into a large door, which seems to have a very wavy-looking dagger drawn upon it, with a circle around it and an eye behind it. He knocks before he opens the door. And inside you see a sconce in the middle, a rather large brazier, as you see a fire is currently going on within it that seems to be a purple color. And around you can see multiple people, around 29 people, all stood around the fire.
About 29 of them.
Wearing robes. Roughly around 29, you'd guess.
Okay.
As
she's like, one for each stab. She thinks to herself.
As you see that, and you do see they all have sort of in their hand, they do have a sort of replica-looking dagger. And you see them look over all in their sort of masks that they wear, their blank-faced masks, as they only seem to have 2 little eye holes and nothing else, the rest of it a reflective surface, as they look towards you, all 29 of them at once. Please, my love. Do not be afraid.
I am not afraid. More just cautious curious.
Cautious curious is a great way to be. Do not worry, I will not harm you. I'd never harm you.
Well, yes, because if you did, I would kill you, so.
Yes, of course. He waves that off.
And she'll enter the room a little further.
And you walk in further, step by step, and you see them all still staring, though stock still. The flames, the strange purple flames reflecting off their mask. And he steps in and closes the door behind him and takes a couple of robes off the wall. They look much more gilded and fancy, as well as a couple more masks. And he holds one out to you for both the mask and, of course, the robe. But this one seems almost specially made. You see symbols of your house upon it. You see the colors of your own herald.
House Dracul.
House Dracul.
Oh, black and red.
And stitched into the collar, the high collar of these robes, on the inside, so nobody else can see, is a strange human-faced cat. It's a replica of the first one you ever painted.
Oh, she's gonna look at this. Have you been preparing for me to join for some time? This did not come.
I've
Put it
brought
on.
you your own cult. I've been cultivating it for a while, making sure I found strong enough minds, he says to them all to hear, to accept such a thing.
Ooh.
It helps, of course, to have this, he says, and draws from his side, very hidden, a interesting curved dagger with a strange pommel of a purple stone. And you see a curved, wobbly blade. And
Dagger eternal bliss.
You see, I thought when I was originally tasked to go and find it that it was just a interesting name, though with its name I wanted to give you it as a gift one day. After all, you are my eternal bliss, my love. And this would be a fitting gift, he says as he shows you the dagger.
Archie, you're so sweet.
I know.
What did I ever do to find you?
He doesn't answer that as he smiles at you. There is only one thing, of course. We are all initiated into this, and to properly take your place as my queen. And the future queen. You will need to cut your palm to feed the fire your blood.
Are you sure that is how it works?
Yes, he says, and all 29 of the other cultists nod in unison.
But pardon me if I'm wrong, Archie. But once you are pricked by the dagger of eternal bliss, does that not mean that you belong to the wielder of the dagger?
Ugh, if you're a human.
Insight check. I want to quick check out that.
Sure, go ahead. Go ahead.
If you're a human, it might be a bunch of bullshit. 12. You know what? I have some rerolls.
Okay,
I'm gonna use
do you want to use one of your second chances? So you cash in one of your second chances. Go ahead.
Do you want to cash in one of my second chances?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a lot worse. Just kidding.
That's a lot
It's
worse. Do you want to cash in another second chance?
fine. No, I think I might need it.
Okay, no problem. That's fine. That's fine. He is telling the truth.
Have you
lie to you.
cut your palm with the dagger?
Well, of course I have. It healed. He sees as he shows his hand. We regenerate, dear.
I know it. I was just curious if you had done it already.
Yes, of course. I wouldn't ask
they
you
say
to do
don't
such a
jump off
thing.
the bridge unless all of your other friends have already jumped off the bridge as well.
That is exactly how I remember it.
I'm so good with
Though
human
I believe I
science.
was doing the pushing, but that's besides the point. I understand the metaphor.
Can I
It's
look at the
just
dagger?
a small task. Of course you can, my love, he says, and hands it over to you.
You
But
did
be
say it
careful.
was going to be a gift for me, after all.
It is a gift for you. You just need to do as I said. Otherwise it won't work.
Oh. Yeah, I wanna look at this dagger real carefully.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have parapsychology?
Mm-hmm.
Could you give me a parapsychology roll?
No, I am a
You are a para,
parapsychology person.
but besides you being a para, could you give me a
I
para?
am the para. I'm the para. I don't psychology.
You're Archie's para more.
So just. Yeah, I am. paraphrase a lot of things. 17!
All right, on a 17, you look over the dagger and you do feel a strange pulsing from it, almost like a heartbeat, but almost like you can feel all of the hearts that belong to this dagger within it beating in unison.
Mm.
And as you hold the dagger, you do see the other 29 members of the cult look towards you.
Mm-hmm.
Their strange reflective masks looking into you.
Yeah, I want to see if I can use the dagger without having to cut myself with it. So she's going to think, like, look at Archibald. She's going to think I'm holding the dagger.
Okay, no problem. Give me a willpower check, please.
Oh, can I be concentrating on this?
But it is an incredibly difficult check.
Okay, well, that's good to know.
Looking for an 18 plus.
Oh, but it's
And a 27 is certainly better than that. As you think it, they don't look at Archibald, but you also feel nothing bad happen.
Oh. Okay, that's good. So she does, I'm guessing with this willpower check and feeling out the dagger bit, she's guessing she does need to cut herself to be able to wield it. You're muted, sir.
It seems you need to give yourself to the dagger to be able to use it correctly.
Mhm. She's like, well, I know we need to return this to the museum, but I mean, what's a little use out of it first, you know? So, yeah, she'll be like, all right, so what do I need to do? Just cut myself, or...
He says, and he holds his hand out.
I would like you to give me all of the steps of this process before...
How about we take it step by step, very slowly, and we'll stop if at any point you're uncomfortable, my love.
I have the feeling once we get started, this is something that cannot really be stopped.
We can pause, he says. The ritual, many steps to it. But I'll tell you each one before we enact it.
How about you tell me them all now? As a
It's a
general
long process.
overview. I have a lot of time.
And he takes a breath and then begins to tell you the steps of the ritual. Meanwhile, whilst this long conversation goes on underground with all of the cult of murderers, Tilly and Delilah, you are having a conversation.
Oh no.
And thank you so much for the donation, Dark Cache. Let us know what you want in the chat, and we will sort that out for
That
you.
might be big crits.
I think it might be big crits from what I can see.
Thank you.
Let
for
us
the
know
donation.
in the chat, Dark Cache, if it's big crits. If it's big crits, I will give the big crits out. You're amazing. Thank you.
I've got chest pains. Out of
Yeah.
character. Oh, the
That's
palpitation.
not
That
the
was
big crits, that's the
anxiety
big crit
ridden.
fails.
That's the big fail. Oh,
Little did you know it's called the dagger of extreme anxiety.
oh god, all my anxiety is in that dagger right now.
Honestly,
The
Oh,
dagger of
Jesus.
daily life.
Oh, I want after session discussions tonight, you lot. Okay, right, back to it. So,
honestly, yes.
Delilah, if you do want to talk about the law side of things, perhaps putting our minds together would be best. I'm not exactly wearing at my top shape tonight, but I have put out a rough battle plan. It is strange to be writing things down for once.
No,
But here,
and I mean, I'll do what I can to help. Believe it or not, I wasn't encouraged to think much. Not until I met Ned.
well,
Look on
for
this,
what it's worth,
brush yourself off and just look over. She's writing.
you, I believe there's a lot more that lies behind a pretty face.
If only most men would believe that. She smiles a little. But we'll kind of read through it and just have a think.
Good job I'm not a man, and clearly your husband sees something in you.
That's because Ned is wonderful. She just says it so matter-of-factly, just because.
Yes, wonderful. Anyway, this is what notes I have, and yeah, she'll just show what she's got so far.
I'll look through it and basically, I guess, cross-reference some facts that she's like got versus what I got, and then try to figure it out, like what sounds the best. So basically, give it the diplomat's touch, so to speak. Do I need to make a roll for that?
Yes, could you please give me a etiquette roll, please?
I know
Can I help?
etiquette. I'm much better at charm, but hey, I know etiquette. Let's see. Do.
Do they get a bonus for
sort
helping?
Etiquette.
Oh no,
No,
re-roll.
it's a
Mind if I
separate
reroll
thing.
that?
Okay.
Slightly better.
Okay, slightly
the
better.
hand.
You look through it and it looks good. Like all of the work that they've already done is there. It's good. Legal stance wise, it's great. There should probably be more considerations to the social aspects. That's at least what you see. Some of the language may be found as factual, yes, but insulting to the upper class, to the nobles. Mainly because of it being so straightforward. There's no softening of the blows. There's no tact to it. It is the facts. It is the law. It is a very, very good way of getting around things. There's just not enough floweriness to it.
Yeah, she'll look through it and it's like, Tilly, what you got there? It's a very beautiful version of the unbridled truth, and I for one appreciate it very much. How do I put this gently?
Oh, don't be gentle. It's fine. What's wrong with it?
That's the problem, dear. You don't want enough gentle, whereas the masses do.
Right.
It is. You have to
Would
understand.
a
before
word
their lives,
please,
noble
perhaps
valley their
a
pride.
please and a thank you, maybe would that help? Like a
No, you need to soften things up, fluff it a little, like a little bunny. No one likes a matte bunny. You wanna, give like nice softness. Like
I'm
for
sorry,
example,
murder cult.
and then
Yeah.
he fed his and then he fed his toes. Does not sit well with most people. They don't want their indignity exposed. You say,
Right.
oh, and then it seemed that some strange force compelled this person.
Well, it was a strange force, but it's a murder cult that makes the rich feed each other toes and have bloody fondants. That's not
Tilly,
really a good way to put it. Oh, there
Tilly,
was also
I
a
have
flower girl that was
Tilly.
dancing petals behind them as they all murdered each other. It was lovely. It's not lovely.
That's a
It's
start.
awful.
That is a
Right.
start. But
Wait,
all right,
you're
just
being serious, right?
no, I'm actually being serious. That is a start, but we want to fluff it up a little bit more. I'm going to say 2 sentences to you. All right?
All right. Okay.
Let's say this person made a mistake. Correct? Yes. If this person, for example, Lord actually not, maybe let's not say any names. Maybe Lord Imaginary person
Let's say Lord
decided
Schmerkley.
Sure, Lord Schmerkley. Lord Schmerkley, let's see, what's an embarrassing thing? Oh, was caught having an affair with his maid. That happened just a couple of months ago. Quite funny. Now, and you could say that, or we could say, there was a slip of discretion made by a certain lord. Do you see the difference?
Kind of. I mean, he's still a cheating lowlife.
Yes, but the way you represent the facts make it so you're not directing the blame to him. It's like, for example,
it
instead
was
of
his
I made
fault.
a mistake, say a mistake was made, and instead of I will do something about it, actions will be taken.
But a man must take responsibility for his own inactions, and he must take consequences. If a man is
That
not
would be
loyal to
lovely,
someone,
but you see, you have to understand, that's what normal people think. Rich people don't think like that. Trust me, I had to learn. Ned made me take a crash course on this.
well, I hope you don't
I have a book
expect
if
me
you
to act like that if Mr. Grimoire turns around and, oh, I'm going to have an affair with one of your non-existent maids.
Oh no, if he does, I fully expect you to punch him where it hurts and tell me so I may ruin his life forever. In the
I'm
best
going
ways
to
I can,
punch the
anyway.
man. I'll just send him away.
No, you punch them when they. No, actually, you don't punch them. You slap them really hard. Make sure you do it with the ring inside.
Oh no,
Very
if I'm going to punch him, I'll do it with my knuckle dusters on. But I'm not going to punch the devil. Mr. Grimoire.
And this is why. I adore you. But, Tilly, do you see,
Right.
like, this is the knuckle duster to the noble's pride, right here.
Well,
If you-
sometimes they
if
do
you
need
send-
taking down a peg or two. I'm not saying I totally agree with them feeding each other toes. but I
Greybeard, you're hearing every word of this from your room. You were trying to sleep, but you can just hear it through the wall that you're near. You can just hear the mumbling, sort of slightly muffled but very loud, of all of this. It's a very interesting conversation. You're finding it hard to sleep, but they seem to be considering legal defenses, which may be something that you may need in the near future, as you have until the new year before you're taken in.
And at this point, Dr. Vrook has decided that anybody who asks him, he's going to just give them a scientific rundown of what he saw and who he operated on and who he helped get out of the house and all of that, because he was not privy to Tilly saying something about getting the story straight or anything. So he's literally planning on, and then at about 9:02, we went in, and the fountain of blood, I mean, that's what he will actually describe it in a very scientific manner, her upper palate was pierced by this, that's why he was taking notes. And so, yeah, they're talked, he's rolling about, and he thinks for a moment about going over and getting involved in the conversation, and then decides that he will instead get caught up in his consumed trait and start using the jumbled notes that he did take to sort of overlay on his own work and maybe just get back to work here and where he can and when he can. Because if he's not going to sleep, he might as
Delilah's
well.
like, think of them as bunnies!
Mm-hmm.
They're not bunnies. They're people who've had it all in life and they should take responsibility for their actions. But whatever, bunnies.
The fact that they need fluffing was just killer.
So you'll be working and just like that is just happening.
Maybe I take in a margin note, about the, Lady Berkeley unhealthy obsession with the promiscuity of Tilly Griffith, and actually, like, in the notes, I'm taking notes about their talk as if I'm going to be their doctor, psychologist someday also, and so I'm going to have to transfer those to my other book.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, I can't believe you're doing a psych session without us even present.
Breach of privacy. Totally.
That's
Yes.
okay.
The doctor
Tilly,
has
do you
boundary issues, so
Yeah, many of them, mostly that there is none.
yes.
Oh my goodness. Is he just is he scribing everything we say, or are you just like writing the most important parts?
I imagine when he realizes that he can't work on that because he's such a consumed individual, since he can't work on like science and stuff, he just switches gears and is now, okay, I guess I'm going to my doctor of psychology now, and we're working on this instead.
Understandable. And can you give me a quick psychology check as you sit there and do begin to do these
Oh.
things?
Are you really gonna pry into our brains? I mean, I'm here for this. We need
Go
a
for it.
session, like, oh my god. I'm American. Every American goes to a therapist. Well,
I can't.
I'm
they're
British, we
jumbled
know.
and muffled.
drink your sorrows away.
An 11.
I plan to.
Okay, on an 11, you're sort of tired, but you're getting some basic notes on their psychology down despite yourself. You're hearing things, and you're like, okay. You're taking some bits down. You're getting a base idea of their base psyche.
Okay.
Oh wow. Big raiders.
Also, thank you for the raid, Stellana.
Thank you so much. Well, how about I just hand this off to you, Miss Berkeley, because I'm a little bit hopeless on the fluff. Bunnies aren't really a species I'm interested in, nor am I
Then how
interested
about little
preserving the
children?
feelings of-
Think about little children who are completely unaware of the horrors of the things they've caused, and try to present in a way that if they heard what they were doing, how can you preserve their feelings?
They're not little children.
Just pretend.
They're
I'm asking you.
manipulative and cunning as everyone else is in this world. They are
Really?
worse than that.
Curious.
I cannot lie to myself, Miss Berkeley. This is what you're trying to tell me. It's going to lie to myself, and I can't. I can't do that. My memory is too good. I cannot lie to myself when I know that it is entirely
If that
the
is
opposite.
the case, then I highly, highly suggest making sure that Mr. Gourmand is very, very, very well versed in what to do with a woman, if that's the case. Otherwise, you're
Varuk, more
cheating.
notes.
I know. That's what I was doing. I was like,
Well, if I was going to scare him off, I think I would have done so by now.
Oh, I was talking about faking it, dear. But I guess, anyway, so...
What are you talking about?
Oh, my sweet, sweet... I do not know when you're born, child. So...
It's not
She kind
important.
of looks down at the looks down. I'm not asking you to lie to yourself. I'm asking you to present it in a way that won't hurt people's feelings. Was it really wrong to spare people of their feelings? Also, Tilly, I am actually quite curious. You're a woman
Right.
of, well, quite educated means, yes?
Yes, yes, yes.
And you're
Yes.
from Upper London?
No.
Well, you're in Upper London, and your accent is about just as proper as my beloved Ned's.
I was taught to speak it away.
I've always been curious, because, well, you seem so proper and, well, what's the word that you British love so much? Posh, yes! That's you.
No.
And your complete, well, dislike of the upper classes, doesn't it take a lot of money to make you this educated? You sound so smart.
I was... How do I put this? I got myself into a position where I received a sizable amount of money from my family. And I used that money to take care of some business and to educate myself. I was also taken in by my tutor, who ensured that I had a good education and I did not disgrace them in any way.
That is
So-
relatable.
I was taught. I've always been naturally inquisitive, though, and I've always had a brighter mind, I know that. But they honed it and pointed it in the right direction, I'd like to think.
I think so too. I really admire you, you know? Some ways. Not just as a fashion, though. That we need to
That's-
work on.
It's very practical. I'm in a lot of danger many times a day. Cannot be
Yes, and
fully
you're also in danger of being horribly misdressed for the occasion of dying. Why do you think I'm wearing so much red and black these days? So I may die dramatically if I do.
not really that bothered about dying dramatically. I'd rather live and do something good.
You've not even thought about the pose you would potentially die in?
Probably holding a gun at some point, or not. I'd be disarmed, or
I'm thinking
suppose-
more of like a crumple for myself, but I think you would do very well doing something dramatic and just falling like the heroine that you truly are.
obsessed
but anyway,
with old death.
well,
Anyway.
I suppose I have given a few thoughts to my
How?
demise, but have not really given the thought of the fashion icon sense of it. I'm not really good at that.
well,
And speaking of fashionable deaths, meanwhile, in a basement somewhere surrounded by 29 cultists and, of course, your paramour, you've been guided
Yes.
through the ritual. It's quite simple.
Yes,
There's
what does
just a
it
lot of
entail?
chants to do. That's the only
Oh,
issue. The
the
chants are the
chanting.
complicated bit. The actual part
Mm.
of the ritual is easy. You step towards the sconce, you place your hands out in front of the fire, the dagger is drawn across your palm, your blood drips into the fire and feeds
Mhm.
into it where the rest of that blood has all been as well. All 30
Okay.
of them.
Now I
in that
have
blood.
second question.
Okay, and he
So,
sits and all of the cultists continue to stare at you with their strange reflective masks, the purple flame still flickering in their masks
yeah,
as they
no,
all stare at you.
I just ignore them. They're peons. I'm not concerned with them. Peasants, really. So say like in 100 years we get
Mhm.
bored of culting around. How do we reverse this, or do we just kill them all, or how does that work? Just out of curiosity, because we live very long times.
They would
And-
happily give themselves over to the cause if they need to, but we can just grow. There is no strict limit. We could continue to grow. If you got bored, you could always step away. Or you could continue to grow until you can have whatever you want in the world, darling.
This is true. I just know that sometimes I get bored of things after a couple centuries. Like that time I took up archery, and the other time I took up cross-stitching. So I just had to. I figured I should ask before, doing blood cult stuff. Because Papa always says to, examine weird cultish magic stuff from every angle. Ever since that possessed doll I told you about when I was very small.
Yes, but
That took a
still,
while.
Ella, this is all very entertaining, but can we get on with it? We have much to do in the night if you wish to be involved in this, and the sooner we get it done, the sooner we can just enjoy this, he says, and steps slightly closer.
All right. Well, since we are being so open and honest and stuff with secrets, have you ever heard of a Mr. Lucifer Grimoire? I take that as a yes. Yes.
Yes, I
So-
prefer you don't speak that name.
Oh.
We are on sticky relations.
Oh, that is not good. You see, I have a contract with him to bring back this crown thing he's after to the museum where this was stolen from, coincidentally. So funny, so strange. And then he will
very
give me whatever
strange.
I want. So.
And you have a contract with them, not the owner of the museum, then?
Yes, with him. Because the owner of the museum was already indebted to Mr. Grimoire, and then he fucked up, so now we have to fix his mistakes, because he's a real fuck up.
I didn't know you were working on the case so closely with Mr. Grimoire. I thought it was merely a hobby, so I made sure to make it more difficult for you to find them.
Oh, dear, did you heist all 3 items from the museum?
Heist, heavens no, they were delivered to me.
Oh. I wonder who did heisting then? They were very good.
He smiles. I may know that.
Wait, you said
And I
them
may
delivered.
know
You
what is
have the
behind
crown
this.
as well?
I don't have the crown, my dear. That went to somebody
Does your
else.
mother have the crown?
Please, let's get this done.
My dear, if we are going to be together forever, we have to be very honest with each other.
And we can be, just please, one step at a time. First, we take this big one. Then I will tell you everything. There will be no secrets between us once we have this task complete. Never again will there be a secret between us, my love.
Never?
Never again.
You will tell me everything?
I will tell you whatever you want to know if you help me to achieve our goals this evening and tomorrow. Once we complete our
And you
task.
tell me what all of these goals are, because you've been very vague.
One at a time, that is all I can offer. I have very strict conditions that I cannot break myself, my dear.
And none of these goals you have to do tonight and tomorrow have anything to do with upsetting the mortals that I'm with.
Yeah,
This Berkeley,
upsetting
this
is a
Dr.
very
Baruch.
difficult thing. It may upset them, but they are very upsettable
Okay,
people. They are
personal,
mortals.
physical, and they are very upsettable. They get upset all the time about
I know,
murder.
they're always upset. It's just
Okay,
death.
physical, bodily harm, or abnormal mental harm.
My love, he says, and steps forward again, places a hand upon your cheek, and sort of gets closer into your ear, his slightly warm breath felt against you. After this eve, they will not be harmed at all unless they decide to put themselves in harm's way. I will not hurt them unless they decide to get in between us. And even then, I will try my best to not hurt your pets.
Magdalena contemplates just taking the dagger and fleeing at this point.
Besides, you can easily invite them to your coronation, my dear.
Oh, Leor, I was already planning on making Dr. Verrucht like chief hospitaler person.
He says and
Yes.
steps back from where he is.
So
But
does this mean you know about
first.
Papa? She's taking the dagger out and she's like, does this mean you know about Papa and I's meeting with the Queen tomorrow?
Your papa will not be meeting the Queen because they won't be around.
You implied that Cooper and Papa were not at my house. Do you know where they are? They're very important to
My
me.
dear, we are burning time.
It doesn't take long to answer my little question.
Could you give me a very quick charm check, please? And yes, they are compatible.
He's very interested and compatible, which means I'd do a lot better on this roll. Okay. Oh,
All right, let's have a look.
I'm gonna re-roll that.
+5, and you got
That's really poor. I'm gonna re-roll. Ah, crit.
25.
Tell me
Wow, a crit.
everything.
Okay, he is taken in by it. Fine, I will answer a question, one, whatever you wish, but after that, please. Otherwise, we will have to just get on with this without you.
All right, where are Papa and Cooper?
Upstairs, continue.
Are they safe? What?
I gave you
They're
your one
just
question,
fine.
please. Can we get on with this?
I'm going to check on them after this.
That's fine. I will show you to them. Just, please.
She'll,
You know I only
she'll-
have so much patience.
I know. And she'll give him a peck up the cheek just to push that patience a little further, and then she'll cut herself with the dagger.
And you
She's
do
gonna hold on
put
to it.
your hand, you hold on to it. Your blood drips into the fire. It kindles the fire as it begins to blare even brighter than before. And your mind feels very woozy, very strange for a moment, and you feel a movement in your palm.
Yes, I'm wanting to dominate the dagger. I'm going to show it who's boss.
Sure. Give me an intimidation check, please.
I have a bonus to that, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very small bonus.
Crits?
We do have big crits.
You do have big crits. If you want to use it now, though, is up to you.
Yeah, I have 2 crits technically, but I'm
You
waiting
do.
for him to be like, make that will check or whatever it is to take control. I don't think the dagger is gonna do it. Oh, do I get this is me bonding? Do I feel like this is me bonding with the dagger? Like,
Not with you trying to intimidate it.
Okay,
You're trying to force it into
try to
submission.
intimidate
Maybe
it.
it'll help you if you manage.
Okay. All right. It's not my best check, but I'll do it. I'm gonna save this. I think I might need him. 12.
On a solid 12, you're like, yeah, I'll not be taken in by you, dagger. The dagger does not respond.
Yeah.
And can you make me a will check, please?
Yes, I would like to use one of my big crits of
Okay,
this.
so
And if I can
using one of
concentrate,
your
that's a
big
28.
You do. So use one of your big crits.
Yeah,
Given to
I
you
wanna
today.
show this dagger how much will I've got. Be on the top of the will hierarchy.
And as you sort of hold on to the dagger and you feel a slithering inside your palm, you feel something crawling through your wrist, through your elbow,
Ooh.
up your arm, and towards your chest as you feel it pass through your shoulder. And as you do, and you feel it vanish inside of your flesh,
Ooh.
you feel nothing on your mind. You feel in control.
Don't like that. Did you feel a slithering sensation?
It is a very odd sensation, is it not? But
Okay.
don't worry, you should have complete control.
Look to the left. Look to the right.
They follow.
Like, oh,
They can
Oh,
do
this
that if you wish to just make them look around, but otherwise you can set them a task and they'll do it beautifully. The best thing is they won't question it. They won't give anything up if they're caught.
I see. This is very valuable.
And together we can use this. We can give you what you truly want, Magdelena. He says, and his hand gently goes over your own. It's holding the dagger. Just cups the outside. You see him still, in the robe, yet his shirt still partly opened, his graying hair still swept back, the peppering of his stubble, his deep, very deep eyes looking into your own as he looks at you with utter adoration and worship, obsessed with you completely. He may have been doing things that are quite harmful to you, and yet you still feel his true love, which you bought, coming through.
I did. That's my 6-point quality coming through.
It is. It's expensive, so you've got that.
Yes. Elderly loyal. Cool. She feels a little bit better about this. All right. Now, I suppose we should... What is your time? We need to go visit Papa and Cooper. I need to see them. You're mute. You're very quiet. Speak up, please.
Yes, we need to do that. You can go upstairs and see them, but I do have tasks to do if you would let me use the dagger once more. I need to direct them correctly whilst you see your papa.
What? You said you would tell me everything now. What is the task you have to do next?
I said I would tell you everything once we have completed the full task, and that I can only do it one step at a time right now, and I cannot reveal it all. It is not
Can't
within
tell
my
me
power.
each step at a time?
Yes, as we do it. The first step is the dagger, please. He says and holds out his hand.
And what are you going to have them do?
I swear, if I was a religious man, you would be testing my faith. And we'll cut back to the manor, where the rest of you are currently resting, and have been discussing things into the night. Farouk, you hear a tapping at your door. A very quiet tap, 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 tap.
He'll, as he laid out his stuff like he always does, being so compulsive, he'll, I guess he'll grab up the combat syringe and crack the door and hold it behind the door and see who's there.
You see a boy stood there, a young boy, bright-eyed, though slightly dull behind the eyes. But you recognize the form quite well. Dressed in very plain-looking clothing, very clean-looking. You see Shoe Shining Sean.
Well, hello there. How are you, young man?
He doesn't respond. But he goes into his side pockets and he pulls out something in a hand and hands it out to you. A small folded letter.
All right. Keeping the syringe still behind the door, I'll grab it and pull it through the crack of the door.
And you do so. You pull it through the crack of the door, and the paper is very, very well presented. It is beautiful, in fact.
Okay.
And it's penned on the front with your own name on it. Not Dr. Verrucht, but your real name. In a tight, elegant hand.
All right. Yeah, is it sealed or can I unfold it with one hand?
It seems to be sealed, but they seem to have peeled it up slightly so that you can do it with one hand. They seem to have been conscientious of that fact.
All right. And I will do that and unfold it. And what does it say? Is Sean still standing there?
Sean stood there.
Okay. All right. I read the letter.
Okay. So, you have a look. And please do tell everybody what your real name is, Doctor.
I would have to look the last name up, but it's Reinhold is his first name, and I cannot remember what his last name was because it's been months. It's been 2 seasons.
And indeed, it's been so long since you've ever seen that name that you do see Dear Reinhold. I see that you have taken on an identity of Dr. Verrucht, a rather curious name, an interesting one. It is good to see you well, if a little less together than when we last met. My people have been watching you and have been observing your actions. There is, of course, some recompense to pay for what you have done. I would prefer it not to come to harm for you, yet there are things around you that are more susceptible to such things. We send you this as a warning. I know you seek the protection of Lord Berkeley, and you shall have it. We will not step to you. We will not pursue you. We will not harm you. Anything else, however, dear friend, is fair game. Don't worry, it can still shine your shoes. Yours sincerely, Nicholas Lovell.
He refolds it with a single hand and tucks it in a pocket and looks at Sean in a very dispassionate scientific way to see if it's drugs or any
sure,
sign
could you
of...
give me a medicine check, please?
Sure. 16.
You see some signs of something that you're very familiar with. A treatment that you had been pioneering back in the day when you were in the trenches. Part of your research and your side research that you had conducted was the concept of electrotherapy.
Galvanization.
It seems Dr. Nicholas Lovell has indeed utilized your own base research and perhaps furthered it. But there does seem to be some other quirks there. Equivocally, he has been reprogrammed. You do see these slight marks where the nodes were placed on Shining Sean's head.
So, young man, are you to stay with me or go back to your new masters?
You, sir. You.
Son, come in. And he opens the door, and obviously he's got the combat syringe in the one hand, and he,
And Sean walks in. He seems to walk very well, very politely, unlike before. His posture is very good, and he speaks with more eloquence.
You're breaking Greybeard's heart, but the doctor is trying to hold the line, like, okay, this is, now it is in science mode. I'm trying to think of, is there ways to bring him back, or is there only reprogramming him differently?
Very, very long-term treatment. And I mean very long-term.
Okay. If you wouldn't mind, have a seat.
He takes a seat immediately.
Have some of the food there. And relax.
Whatever you say, sir. It's like you inside. I'm good at that.
Well, once you have had some food, then yes, you may exchange the shoes.
Very well, sir. He says and gets to eating almost mechanically.
And that's what the doctor was waiting for. And he opens yet another, section of notebook. Date, Sean, and galvanic reprogramming. Begins notes. This evening has become very, very busy. Is what he'll write in his journal later.
Of course. But Sean stays with you, polite, very obedient. He does whatever you say.
The doctor, I guess, would at some point tell Sean to go to sleep, and then he would go to sleep himself. And
if he does, he kind of goes over to the sofa and curls upon it and goes to sleep.
All right, I'll cover him in my great coat or a blanket if it's not too big for the couch.
And you do so. And things do start to go through your mind as you do that. And the wording of the letter, they won't come for you. But anybody else is game. And do you remember you haven't seen your household servants for a while either? You haven't heard from them, you haven't heard from Sean, you haven't heard from any of your associates in the city, aside from, of course, those in the direct vicinity. You know what you did. You know how much it affected Dr. Nicholas Lovell. And you know they aren't one to let things go easily. And evidently they are ready to continue to make your life hell.
Yeah, I think at this point it's a reflex to okay, battle is coming. This may be my last night's sleep, and but he will take the precaution of. Is there any windows in this room?
Yes, there are. Yes, they are very nice windows with the seals, of course, on top as well.
Yeah. All right. Nothing I can do about windows except make sure the curtains are closed. And I will put my harness with my weapons. As much as this bothers me, I will put them under a pillow on my bed.
Yes.
So that Sean does not have access to them. And then I will take and jam something in under the door, like one of the magazines. To like jam in under the door so that no one will be entering.
You do,
and
so.
Then
it's safe, secure. You've been responsible and made sure that all of your weapons are tucked safely away. And with that, you know that there's no running anymore, Doctor. You can't keep running from this. They've caught you.
Yeah, the time of reckoning, obviously, for the Doctor has come on all fronts, and hence the truth. The truth is the truth, and will be shown one way or another. Hopefully, the new Transylvanian court will be lenient on me.
Still.
Oh, you want to commit crimes? What crimes you want to commit today? Okay, have fun.
You
want to commit crimes? What crimes you want to commit today? Okay, have fun. Still.
Oh, you want to commit crimes? What crimes you want to commit today? Okay, have fun. Oh, you want to commit crimes? What crimes you want to commit today? Okay, have fun.
Still, you get some rest, Doctor. But in the other room, oblivious to all of this, the two of you have spoken. You've gotten your plans together. Everything seems about ready. It's been very quiet in this room. Very quiet. And even quieter that you're muted as you try and speak, Tilly.
Oh, okay. There we go. Yeah, she'll turn to Delilah once their conversation has come to a lull. I think I might go and check on the children and Miss Fairchild before bed. If you care to join me, you can. But otherwise, you're more than welcome to stay. Although I'm not, I've never really had a slumber party before, I think it's called.
You try and speak, Delilah, yet are also mute.
Stunned speechless, I see. Okay.
Oh, I'm so sad right now.
Oh. I'm
This is
sorry?
your first slumber party? We don't even have champagne or bonbons to celebrate. Oh,
What is a bonbon?
and there's this whole... She looks at you with deep sadness in her eyes and pity.
Can you not look like that at me? It's rather disconcerting. I know we've had a rough night, but it's only a bonbon.
We're facing death, and you do not know the taste of bonbons. Oh.
Well, you perhaps get over that while I'm gone, and I'll be back very soon.
No, I need the company. Please don't leave me alone. Ned is out like a light, and, well, though
Where did you
normally
put your
find
husband?
comfort- I know,
Exactly.
really.
Right.
The thing is, I normally find much comfort in, well, being by his side, but he has been, possessed
Not-
by a horrible dagger. You know what he said? He was looking forward to having company and talking.
Oh, how dreadful.
I know. My Ned isn't like that whatsoever.
Could quite relate. Well, well, depends on the company, I suppose. Well, perhaps you should go and check on him to see if he's awoken and is still...
Oh no, trust me,
acting-
he'll be knocked out. He was punched by, I believe, a vampire, so...
Dampier, darling. Dampier.
Yes, a Dampier, because they're, less lethal and less paranormal. She laughs a little.
I think I'd have to ask Dr. Verrucht, really.
Maybe let's not wake the doctor from a slumber. He needs to have a good rest. Tomorrow he's being persecuted for that dreadful crime of breaking a glass dome, right?
It's all coming up, Dr. Maru.
He needs some time.
Well,
Besides,
perhaps I
would
shall.
be
I
glad.
doubt. He does... I feel a strange kinship with the Doctor, even though we've not really had much interaction. And if he is anything like I think he is, he will not be sleeping right now. Perhaps I should pay him a visit before bed
Meanwhile,
and see whether he's feeling prepared in the morning.
Oh, yes, just a regular... Okay, never mind.
Where has your
I
mind
was
gone,
thinking-
Miss Berkeley?
Well, I was wondering precisely what nature of visit you were thinking, because normally, well, isn't it against your Victorian etiquette to, I do not know, visit a man in the dead of night in nothing but your nightgown?
It's our Victorian etiquette, might I remind you. You can visit your
Yes,
husband.
yes.
That's
With
it.
sex?
Do we hear that?
no, he's out cold. He's asleep. It is
Okay.
like
Yeah, she
the
just looks
very, very late hours of evening right now. Like you are early morning, essentially. You're about 2 a.m. at the minute. It is ridiculously late.
I
Everyone in
can't
the house
believe,
is asleep, but you do.
Miss Berkeley, I can't believe I have to say this, but I'm not really experienced in that area at all. My
I noticed
tragedy
when I
is
first
fully
came in,
intact,
yeah.
and it will remain so for quite some time, if not forever.
Well, I respect your decision, and that's very, very Christian of you, and I approve. Ned also saved himself. Well, he tried to save himself from marriage. So, let's go back to bed, shall we? Just, push her back. Just sleep. Come on.
Lord, you're living in sin. Right, let's go.
I am married, darling. There's no sinning if it's between man and wife.
Yes. Right, I'm not going to comment. No, it's not my place. No. Mm-mm.
Now let's get some rest. The children should be, well, they're under the care of Miss Fairchild. Unless you want to rouse Miss Fairchild and pay her a nightly visit.
Why do you keep making that insinuation? I'm very confused.
No, this time I did not make an insinuation.
Right. You're... What are you thinking about? No. No, don't tell me.
No. Don't worry about it. It's nothing, really.
I find this whole thing more stressful than the entirety of Lower London burning down.
Very good. Now let's
I'm
go
going for a
stress
walk.
in bed, dear. Come on.
I'm going for a walk.
can't go
I'll
for-
be back.
Oh,
She's just out. She's out of there. She's had enough.
yeah, she follows off like going, this is why Victorian manors get tales of haunted houses with women walking at 2 a.m. in the morning. She's kind of like
It's our Victorian. Our Victorian. You're not living in another time. You're here with me. She says, like quietly whispering, as she like
We have a
stalks
different
off.
name for our time. We call it wartime.
And you stalk off, and you just hear the silence of the rooms, everybody sleeping in the house, and occasionally a creaking floorboard, or the house moving itself, or the flash of lightning in the distance, and the crash of thunder. It's quite a jumpy affair.
A question, Jam. You know how I'm haunted by any reflection?
Oh yes, and
My
any ghosts.
question is there? Yeah, is there? Are there mirrors exposed at 2 a.m. in the morning in a store? Oh.
Don't worry, if YouTube and absolute trashy YouTubers have taught me anything, things only happen at 3 a.m.
Oh no.
All right, very good. We're still
Don't
1 hour
leave
off.
her.
This is
The
fine.
best things
I'll
happen
be
at 3 a.m.
huddled close to Tilly because I'm just like, and I'll probably pass by Reflection and go, Tilly, do you mind if we go back to your room?
And you do feel eyes upon you, Delilah, from the mirror. You feel them looking at you, watching you. But you also feel many other presences.
Tilly?
Yes.
Do you mind if we go back to your room where there's a bit more light and a few less presences?
You see nothing.
Right. Of course.
And with another crash of lightning perfectly behind Miss Tilly Delilah, you see a shadowy form behind her of a very sort of skinny-looking lady hunched over with a old dress upon her. And you see her eye sockets are empty, and there's only black voids behind them, and her skin is pulled taut to her face.
Yeah, she's like not fully not used to this, but not fully used to this either. And she's just like,
Shall we then? She just offers out an arm.
Yeah, she just kind of grips it really
And you
tightly
hear the
and tries her
voice
best
of
not to
this
look at it.
strange form as it speaks out and reaches its hand out behind Miss Tilly. She just goes, "You shouldn't be walking at night, my lady. You know what happened last time?
What happened last time? She whispers
You
quite
know
quietly.
what happened last time?"
What are you talking about?
I don't know what happened. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Do not worry about it. I just.
And it's as you
sometimes,
say
like,
that
mumble to
the
myself.
form is directly next to you. Suddenly.
She closes her eyes.
I still don't see anything, right?
Oh no.
Let's just go. She just begins.
I hold on to her because I'm closing my eyes so I don't have to look at that socketless woman.
It's rather strange. I suppose
And she
she's
follows you the
sorry.
entire way you walk around the house.
Do we go back to Tilly's room and is she still follow me?
She leaves as you leave the hallways. Seems only to be around when you're
goodness.
wandering the hallways at night. When you go into your room, you're fine. Tilly's room is completely unhaunted.
Including the mirrors? If there is any?
You see a dressing mirror, but you don't feel anything.
Yeah, she'll make sure to just absently, just quickly, just drape over a sheet over the mirror and just kind of, much better. We shouldn't ever wander the hallways at night. You know what happened last time. Just like, and it smiles again, very cheerfully.
No, Lord Marriott.
And as you
has
say that, inside of
charming.
the walls, you hear, "Yes, we all do."
What?
You just hear, "Yes, we all do," through the walls.
On our way back, could we have checked into Ned, like Delilah's room, just to see if Ned is gone conked out cold?
Ned is conked out cold. He is tucked in very tight as well.
All right. Those hospital corners, real pain they are. And
But you do see Delilah by the side of Ned's bed is a sort of younger looking lady with a parasol inside of all things, who looks to be very charred. But her features still remain, and she is almost like porcelain and beautiful, as she's merely just stroking his head and sort of shushing him to sleep.
she sees this. I don't.
Oh, you see nothing.
Okay.
You just
Yeah,
see Ned
Delilah
tucked in
just-
tight, sleeping well.
She looks in kind of horror, but then seemingly, since this lady seems not to want to hurt him, she just ignores it for now because.
And as you're ignoring it, she turns to you and simply goes, "You shouldn't be wandering the halls at night. You know what happened last time, milady.
Yes, we'll go back right away.
That's for the best."
I
Having
just look
some
at
sort of mental break right now, Miss Berkeley. I understand it's been rather stressful, but you've been talking to things, and I'm not seeing. And my sight is really rather good.
Okay, Tilly. Let's go back to your room really quickly.
And you say that as
You know
the
what
eyeless
happened
woman
last
is still stood next to you the entire time. Still
Alright.
saying, "Be out."
Well, let's go. Come on, you've stood stock still again. Come on.
Yeah, she just holds on to her and just lets herself be dragged back to Tilly's room and just drapes the mirror on and sits and just. Don't worry about that, Tilly. I just sometimes like to talk to myself for no good reason.
Well, you're rather awful at lying. Should we
Well,
get the
I'm
doctor
actually quite a
in?
good liar.
And speaking
just
about a
really
good
bad
liar,
liar.
Magdalena de Ville, across the city, in Archibald's Manor. What do you do?
Oh, yeah, I accidentally hit the wrong button instead of
Aside
unmute.
from remove yourself from the stream.
Yeah, I just leave.
I quit.
I am done with all
I have
this.
peaked.
New Transylvania now, bitches. All right. She goes. All right, but I kind of like it. I want to play around with it some more when you're done with it for this specific next task.
Well, of course. Once I've completed what I need to do with it, I will be giving
Alright.
it to you from then on. And you can do what you need to do with it if you need to return it to that one, I guess.
Eventually, maybe, or we could return it
Eventually,
and then go
maybe.
back and get it afterwards.
Or we just
What are they going to do?
don't
Have us
return it.
return it? That is a good plan. We shall give him another peck. All right. Well, whatever you're going to do in the next day, you should try to do as much of it as you can before all the humans wake up.
That was the plan, but you've been asking me questions for most of
Yes,
the evening.
Well,
I have around
and you
2
took-
hours to enact much of
You
my
took
plan
your
before
time
the morning
answering them.
comes.
You can move fast. Here, have fun, and she'll give him the
I wasn't
dagger.
so in love with you, I would be furious, he says as he kind of takes the dagger back and then gets to his work as he sort
Okay.
of gestures for you to get out. You can let yourself out.
All right, I will. I'm going to go see my papa and Cooper upstairs. I'll be
Yes,
here
yes,
when
yes.
you return. Most
He
likely.
knows. What do you mean, most likely?
Well, I might need some air and take a walk. Check on, make sure the police haven't, I don't know, killed my favorite doctor.
Well, whatever you need.
Okay. Have fun murdering people and doing whatever it is you need to do.
It's a shame you won't join me.
Well, are Papa and Cooper okay? Have you stabbed them with the dagger?
No, nothing of the sort. No, they're fine. I've put them inside of the Gregorian suite. They are safe. They
And
are sound.
Papa went with you
Papa.
without arguing?
Oh, he protested, but he couldn't move, so we just kind of carried him here and put him in the room. He seemed to calm down once we started bringing him blood, however.
Okay, well, if that's the case, then why don't I just go with you? It seems they seem to be fine.
He says, and he holds out a hand to you.
Papa would probably be happier to see me and not have me leave later, and I could just go with you now.
Imagine the look upon your papa's face. He says, as he takes your hand and steps in close to look at you, as if you're the only person in the world to him right now. Of course, there's the backdrop of 29 cultists, but
yeah, we're both ignoring them completely.
You're both
we're very
ignoring
good
them. They
at
are peons
not paying attention to peons.
And he looks at you. Imagine the look upon his face when you come back to him, the queen of all Britannia.
That would be a pretty... He might not be disappointed for once.
I believe he would be, if anything. He leans towards your ear, proud of you.
All right, let's go.
Let's. There is
and
much
perhaps
to
while we
do.
walk, you can tell me about this crown that you had delivered.
I didn't have it delivered. I told you, they delivered it elsewhere. They're very particular on splitting them up.
I see. Well, maybe we should
I'll tell you all
find that
about
after
it
we're done.
when we're done. He says,
Of course you will. Mm-hmm. She'll take his arm, like, all right, well, here. And she'll just have the dagger. Let's go command these peons.
Yes, let us paint London red, my love. He says,
I love the way you
out
talk.
of the manor with 29 cultists. Oh God. So, part of the plan is, Magdelena, that you are to make your way towards the palace. That you are to visit a few prominent nobles' houses along the way and make an example. And that as the sun begins to rise upon Britannia, that you will visit the Queen. With trophies of those nobles, most held close to her. Do you go along with this? As Archibald is very prepared.
I really want to, but...
But it's not a yes. If you're unsure, you can give me a willpower check.
Oh, because of the dagger?
Or maybe because of something else, like your own obsession.
In bloodlust? Yeah.
And your bloodlust, your pride of your father, and of course your love.
Yes, yeah. You know what? That'll be fun. Let's make just a will check.
Yeah,
just
okay.
for shits and giggles to see how this goes. Oh no. 25.
You have choice.
Magdelena goes, all right. But I'm going to disguise myself so that they don't realize it's me until the big reveal. You know, theatrics. I saw it play the other night.
It. Yes. You have such a beautiful mind, my love.
Our minds are beautiful together.
Indeed they are.
She will
He agrees.
take some tips from Delilah Berkeley, having seen her disguise a Tilly a couple times, and get disguising.
Okay, no problem. Can you give me an acting check?
An acting check.
If you haven't got acting, I will just give you
art check because
I'll give you an
presenting
art just
myself.
this one time because Delilah's helped you before.
Okay.
And you've seen Tilly
Okay.
get disguised as well. Like you've seen
I
many
have.
disguises in your time.
And makeup is really just another form of artistic expression.
You paint yourself with a human-faced cat. No, you may give a roll, please. Okay, that's good enough. You disguise yourself. You change your hair just enough. You change the way you look.
I think
just
she
enough.
pulls it up and puts it under like a hat or a hooded cape. And
You do
then
have the
does some
robes.
makeup. Yeah.
You disguise
She'll
yourself.
even change
and-
her outfit.
Oh my God, what's that?
She knows Archie has Archie's I mean, she knows Archie's always trying to get her to wear some more updated modern clothing at times, so she'll change into one of those dresses he's got for her that she's never worn.
He's happy to see
Because they weren't 15th century enough.
Magdelena, we're in the 19th century, dear.
Yes,
You're
constantly.
4 centuries out of date.
But I like the 15th century. No, but she'll put on one of those dresses and disguise herself up to look different, and like a big hooded cape too for.
And you do so. You look very theatrical. You look very threatening in your red, sort of long, trailing cloak, and your mask that covers half of your face but leaves part of your mouth still viewable. And it looks amazing. You look nothing like yourself, you think.
Oh, I'll never know it is me.
And you go out on your rampage.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. We'll get back to you. As, meanwhile, the rest of you. You're back in your room. Indeed, everywhere else is haunted, but your current room you're in is not. Do you get some rest?
After I stare, make sure there's nothing out there, like, I think it's safe to sleep. I mean, did I say safe? I mean, it's time.
Yes, it's fine. Go to sleep.
Yes.
I'll stay up a little longer and make sure.
No,
comes.
you're not staying up a little bit longer, Tilly.
Sleep takes me when it's
very well.
sleep takes me when it wants. So just sleep, all right? I'm here.
I much prefer cuddling. We are blood related.
I know.
I've never
just
cuddled with anyone before.
Not since I was 7. No.
If we live through this, and if my husband's name gets dragged out of the blood and muck that it's been placed horribly in, we should have a proper slumber party. Now, come here.
All right.
She'll kind of like pat next to her, just like
awkwardly sits, hands in lap.
Sits awkwardly, hands in lap.
Is that how you sleep? Just
No.
looks at you like, come on.
I usually sleep with a book on my face, but
Come on. She kind of just like bounces a little and just like, all right. So
I don't know what that means.
You're supposed to come lay next to me. That's what it means.
Oh, yes. All right. Lays back. She looks like a patient on a table. Like, oh God, this is strange.
Yeah, she just kind of like laughs, like that's a start, and we'll just kind of lay on her side, grab her arm, and just like nestle her head in like the nook of her neck. No respect for personal privacy.
You've got a lot of hair, Miss Berkeley. Delilah.
Just move it out of the
There's
way.
a lot
Don't worry
of
about
this-
it.
There's a lot of it, and I don't really fancy eating it. No. Right.
Oh yes, yes, I usually have my bonnet on me, but not tonight.
Right.
Size.
Well, this
My
is
height's on
the most comfortable. Good night. She's closed her eyes.
In normal times we're supposed to chat about our love lives, but
We've been chatting all night, and every time you mention my
Until
love
it's about that time that you start to say lot that you immediately knock out as your narcolepsy kicks in.
life. Yeah.
yeah, I just kind of I look at her and just I like tuck her hair behind her ears, and pat pat, and then go back to bed.
And you sleep, and you get some rest, and all of you have a lovely night's rest. Aside from Magdelena. Magdelena, we'll cut back to you.
Okay.
As it's beginning to be a bright morning in London.
Mm-hmm.
And you sit with Archibald. A nice little swing. You didn't quite do everything you needed this night. There's still the Queen to deal with. But you think the message
everything
is
but
sent.
the Queen. Yeah.
Everything but. One only step remains, which is, of course, to remove her and to trick his mother into believing that he did what she asked and then supplant her with you. But he sits on the swing with you as the sun rises on the horizon, both of you having part of your face smothered in blood, warm, fresh, from the many nobles you visited this night. At least 8 you number. They all died quite easily. There were, of course, 31 of you. Didn't take much. Entire families taken out in a night.
It brings back
The
such
haze
nostalgia.
of blood and slaughter for you. You feel nostalgic as you swing on the swing and look out to the horizon in your bloodlust and haze. Archibald by your side, arm around you gently, as you see the sun rise and the heat of it begin to pass over you. And in the garden of Buckingham, you see your little scene you've laid out. 8 of the houses of Douglas wiped out. All of them laid out perfectly in the garden.
Mm-hmm.
In a pattern of a
Very
broken
aesthetically.
crown.
Yeah.
It's very aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
And you can only imagine what the Queen will think this morning, or her people, when they see this. It's beautiful. And as you look around you, the thought comes to your mind. It is beautiful, and soon it will all be mine. Gain a corruption.
Okay, yeah.
Gain 2 corruption, in fact.
2 corruption? Okay.
You went on a night-long blood and murder fest.
I
You
did.
deserve 2 corruption.
I do. Here. That's correct. Yep. Okay.
As you come closer to your
Yeah.
vampire.
I imagine we feasted too. Like,
Oh, yeah.
because noble blood is
It is
it's pretty. It's
creme
a
de la
special
creme, so to
vintage.
speak, and you have been
Yeah.
binging all evening.
Oh,
It's been delightful. After the first 2 kills or so, it all became a haze for you. People became less of people and more of cattle. More like little rabbits running away that you had to chase. You didn't care who they were, what they were, or how they ran, or how they pleaded. You became the monster side of you. And you relished in it.
I haven't been in a blood haze like that since the early 1700s.
And Archibald leans back, his shirt kind of very stained in blood by now, as he sort of leans back and sort of wipes his mouth. The sort of grey of his stubble, kind of retaining some of it despite him.
It's right there.
Thank you. We'll clean when we return back home, buddy. I'm glad I could share this with you. He says, he looks over to you.
I'm very glad you decided to share. Oh, Archie.
This evening, once you've dealt with your day and your issues with the doctor and the rest, we will complete our plan.
Yes.
Meet me here at this bench tomorrow evening as the moon rises its highest. We'll complete our task and we'll be done with all of this. We'll be free of it.
Free and on top.
Of everything.
And she just plants one on him. She is in a special kind of way right now.
And he turns and captures you in a kiss as the two of you have the sun bask upon the both of you, half monster, half man, as you feel that warmth that true vampires cannot, but you can. You master both night and day.
Does Archie let me have the dagger for the day?
He hands you it back.
Oh.
Somewhere in the haze, he'd given you it back.
Yeah.
You remember
Cool.
that it's very good at plunging into things.
Oh, excellent. I can't wait to stab something with it.
I remember
Something
telling a
else.
few things. You know you left
Yeah.
a few alive.
No.
Not
I need to
many,
finish them off
but
later.
one of each of the families.
Okay. Cool. Real glad I disguised myself.
You did. And morning comes. And as you're
And I
walking
think-
back,
Yeah, I
do
think they
see-
walk back arm in arm because she does
Yeah.
need to see Papa and Cooper.
and it's as you do that as you're walking through the streets, you hear a click. And you hear a stop right where you are. And as you look over, you see the detective.
Detective, what's his face?
Arthur Murray, yes.
She's like, I think Tilly likes this one.
You and Archibald have a gun pointed towards you.
Is he
Can you
behind
tell
us
him what you're
or in
doing?
front of us?
He is in front of you.
Okay, I'll make eye contact with him.
Okay.
And I'll be like, oh, detective! It is so good you arrived here when you did. There was some murderers running around all night and they nearly got myself and poor Lord Barclay. They ran that way. It's a good thing you came when you did, and I want to try to...
All right. Can you give me the roll to see if you can convince him with your look, with your vampiric gaze?
Yes, I would. A 19. That's pretty good.
Okay. He's not able to concentrate right now, as this is a very incredibly shocking situation for him to deal with in the morning. And he will give it a try. He does not, however, beat you. As you see him resist visibly, he's quite strong-willed, it seems, but the adrenaline of the situation seems to be a downfall of him. As his
I
blood
saw them heading
rushes
towards
that gaze.
Buckingham Palace.
The Queen. Why would they head towards that? Thank you.
I don't
Thank you,
know.
Mr. Vale and Lord Barclay. I'm sorry
You're
for interrupting
welcome.
your morning. I'll get on it right away,
course.
says the detective
Yes,
as he
they
nods at
almost
the two
got us.
blood-soaked vampires and walks past you. And you see Lord Barclay Archibald look towards you and smiles broadly, his teeth glinting white in the light as he looks down at you. Oh, I do so love that trick of yours. Would have been a shame to kill the detective. I'm glad we didn't have to. Let's return home. I tire.
Of course. Get cleaned up. It's starting to get sticky.
It is, he says, as you make your way back. But for the rest of you, as new day dawns on London, and as everything else continues on, and everybody begins to wake up, there are town criers very much ringing bells out. There's some sort of emergency, it seems, which, given what you saw last night, is not so, much of a shock, so to speak. Perhaps they're referencing the explosion of Lower London. Perhaps they're referencing the fatal murders at the Berkeley estate. But then, Delilah, you hear words coming to you as you rouse from your sleep. And you hear, "Many dead, placed in the gardens of Buckingham Palace, the streets painted red with blood. Noble folk dead, killed in their own houses. Their blood runs in the gutters."
I wake up quite shocked. Do I see Tilly still like snoozy? I'll kind of be like, Tilly, wake up, please.
You wake Tilly. Doctor, this wakes you up as well.
Did you hear that? Or was I dreaming?
You heard nothing. You were asleep, Tilly, until you were woken up.
can't hear you.
Sorry, sleeping is a 50-50 chance. I'm either very light or very heavy. Why? What? Oh, I hear the bells.
Yes, and I thought I was in the middle of dreaming about a dramatic play. Apparently, there's noble families, their bodies thrown in Buckingham Palace.
And
It's a massacre?
you do hear again, as sort of the distant bells, you hear the announcement again, and you hear also figures seen within the night. A king and queen of blood dressed in red so bright.
Oh, that is
Nobles
poetic.
killed, laid out within the royal palace. A broken crown.
Oh no.
Tilly sits up. And it seems she's already began her revolution.
She? I blink. What do you mean,
Last
she?
night, the rich eating the rich. And this
Yes,
morning, to crown it all. Is it not obvious? Archibald behind this, and with his queen at his side. The one we've been protecting. No more.
I wouldn't.
Well, then
You
she has some
think she would-
explaining to do, doesn't she?
I really don't think she's able to do that. She's kind of sleep beneath it all. There is some part of her that feels sympathy for us. I don't think she would.
I'm glad you
It's not
don't.
like her. She's been trying to fight for our lives this entire time. And she's seemed to care about other people.
But then, with her little predilections towards her lover and her father and all the other problems she has, she is easily led. But I think she wanted this. She's been talking about it long enough. We just thought she wouldn't go through with it. If she's not the queen by his side, then I will be the first to say I'm sorry. And I was going to say sorry for threatening her last night. I didn't mean it. But now, if this is what she's done, my silver
I
will
for
find
one
her
still
heart.
want to trust her. I still want to trust her. Tilly. But
My dear, in a world like this, you shall not trust anyone. I'm just learning that lesson again. And she gets up. And she gets
I'll
changed.
just as she's before she gets changed, I'll just quickly just pull her and hug her. It's not like you.
You don't know all of me.
You're good.
Nobody's
strong.
good. Nobody.
You are though, Tilly.
You don't know.
I think this hurts you to be like this.
I feel like this is the chance I have to make it up to everyone. Maybe you'll understand.
I don't know what's going through that head of yours, but take care of yourself. I'll be here by your side along with the doctor. Come on, let's get something to eat. Talk to Lord Marriott. We need to calm things down. Tea's calming. She tries to smile a little.
And GM, as Tilly's going through this, and she kind of focuses out of Miss Burley, she'd like to go back to a certain time with her memory.
Okay.
She'd like to go back to the time when she looked into the mask and she didn't feel guilty anymore. She didn't feel any sort of preservation. She felt like she had something to do.
Okay.
And I will willingly take on as much corruption as I can.
Unfortunately, that's none. Because
Okay.
you can't willingly take on corruption in such a way.
All right.
But you can feel that way.
Okay. And you see her straighten up, stern-faced, gently just pat her gun, one and then the other. I'm not hungry. I'll see you downstairs. She goes.
After she leaves, Delilah just kind of like sighs. I suppose it's too late to insist. And she'll also,
And Doctor,
get
you
ready.
wake up. Yes, what were you doing?
Oh,
You've heard all this. It's incredibly loud.
Go ahead if you had a statement there, because I've got an aside that ends your scene. So, Delilah, what were you gonna say?
Honestly, she's just looking quite worriedly after Tilly. She'll get dressed, basically. Nothing much.
And then we come through the wall, and the doctor is sitting like right there, like with half an ear to the wall, and his notebook's open, and there's like scrawled notes, and it says, anarchists, Americans finally taking out the nobles, and then scratch, Blood Queen, damn fears, Archie, Magdelena, question. And then that's literally where we stop as the doctor looks over at Sean. Is Sean still out?
He's up. He's ready. Your shoes are shined.
Okay, and that's creepy. So let's end on that creepiness for my scene. He looks over and Sean's just kind of standing there with his
He's sat there.
clean
Yeah,
shoes.
he's sat. He's waiting.
Okay, yeah.
Wait to have breakfast, sir. Your shoes are shined. Your clothes are folded. Everything is ready for the day, sir.
I know it's very, very creepy. Okay, let us go, good boy. And I pat him on the head.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Do you head down for breakfast, Doctor?
Yes.
Okay. You head down. It's an awkward scene.
Is my husband awake? for
Tilly is
breakfast?
evidently on a warpath. Your husband is awake for breakfast. He's eating.
Is he still like his robotic cult
He's still
self?
his jovial self.
Hmm.
And as you're all eating, you do hear a kind of a very loud noise from above you. And you recognize the noise, Delilah. You recognize the noise of one of the inventions of your husband, the loud engine, the sort of very unique noise of the ships that you had came across the oceans on, the airships that Ned had made, though a quieter noise than you're used to.
I sit up a little bit. Does it come from the attic, or is it just somewhere you
Above.
can actually like look for?
You can look out if you wish.
Do you have? Yeah, I'll look out.
Oh. Your husband kind of goes, oh. And he kind of comes over to the window as well and looks out, opening it to sort of look out into the horizon. And as you look outside, you do see indeed, pulling into the back garden of the Berkeley estate, trying to be subtle, but not at all because it's a fucking airship. It's a small airship, a personal-sized one, you could say. You see a collection of figures upon it, one of which you recognize as the engineer Roman Carlyle, the one who was working on your engine, the one who is working on the ship for so long. He seems to have managed to get a new one working, though the markings on it mark it out as a Lovell lab design, which it definitely isn't. And as your husband sees it, he goes, ah, that's where my design went. I wondered where that went.
I just I look over at Lord Marriott. Excuse me, my lord. I need to quickly go out to deal with business real quick.
Very well, and you see there's a lot of people departing already in the back garden, and many of them seem to split immediately as they get there after having a short discussion in the garden whilst you were still in awe at this. But you see a few individuals.
I'm kind of like briskly making my way over, especially making a beeline to Roman.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Roman Carlyle, have you given my sculptures no thought when you crashed into them?
Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Delilah, he says, the engineer sort of looking at you a bit awkwardly, and he seems to be very sooty, and he looks very disheveled, and indeed so do the others, aside from two individuals. One, a very pale-haired and pale-skinned lady with very strange-looking eyes.
Have I ever heard of this one, given my love of eccentric people and
You've
glamorous
heard
beauties?
stories of them, as you've heard things about a lot of different people, but some of these features reflect. But you've heard some rumors on the streets, and can you give me a streetwise check, please?
Yes, I can. I do love my gossip.
And if you're
Give me some
looking
of that
over
goss.
Tilly, you can give me a law check or a forensic science check.
What do my gossipy ears know? 12.
You think you know something about this. You know there's a lot of thieves around, ones that were picking pockets from people, and they all went under a certain moniker. However, on your 14, you know, due to your own research and your own links in Lower London, that you know that this is not a group of people. There is one who poses themselves as multiple people, but you haven't had a case to take them in yet. An infamous sneak thief known as Lilith. One of Robbie's
seeing her for a moment and just being in that mindset that she is, her hand just briefly rests on her gun for a moment before remembering that Lower London is in the shitter anyway, and takes her hand off of it. She's got bigger fish to fry today.
You've also seen something fly.
There's also that.
It's very mind-blowing. And they do look disheveled and strange.
Unfortunately, usually I would offer you all hospitality, but my house is a site of murder, so I'm afraid I'm going not to provide the usual comforts. Darling, are you still of, I don't know, is your mind still intact to handle this? And be
My mind's completely intact. Mr. Carlo, come. We'll get these people somewhere safe and we'll have a discussion. It's been a while, he says. Very interesting design, by the way. I don't like the heraldry. That's not very good. That's my idea, not theirs. You should scrub it clean. And the two of them go off to discuss as Roman leaves with your husband. And he goes to look around the ship.
Actually, like my husband?
Yes, kind of.
Okay, sort of. Okay.
He's still like him. He's just a bit more positive. And you see sort of the other figures depart as you see the pale-haired lady and a very dark-dressed man who looks very tall and very handsome sort of discuss something with her before he turns to the other peoples around. And they begin to sort of be led away as he begins to find them somewhere to stay and somewhere to hide away for now. He seems to have a few ideas as he leads them off.
Including the white-haired woman?
Lilith, what do you do?
Well, we landed in a noble's backyard. She's probably cased the place before. And then determined, maybe later. They do some charity, I guess. Because she does prefer to steal from the rich and give to the poor. So she is one of Robbie's people. I think she'd make an introduction, though, just because she's very sociable before catching up with Alucard.
Sure. So the strange pale-haired lady walks over to you with a lot of grace about her as she approaches you.
Hello. Sorry about the landing in your back garden. There wasn't many other available places, and Mr. Carlisle's the place to be. My name is Lilith. It's a pleasure to meet you.
It's a pleasure to meet you. Do tell me, how did you dye your hair to this marvelous color?
Oh, this is actually natural.
Oh my.
It's been like this as long as I can remember.
Tilly, do you think the police are still making this a crime scene? Because this woman, she has a flair that I've never seen before. I would love to see her in some of my dresses. I mean, I'm sorry.
I don't be sorry. Perhaps we could
oh my god, it's beautiful.
Exchange fashion ideas another time. I'm in quite a state right now. York is terrible, by the way.
Yes.
Don't go there right now. It's a mess.
Oh dear. I thought they had really good pastries.
They did. Did. York's
No,
not
please
much
do
of a
tell us
town.
more sometime. But we have what's the word? Bigger fish to fry at the moment.
Yes, I'm not quite sure how fast animates walk, but I think London has a bit of time.
I beg your
Yeah,
pardon.
that is very
My
shocking
voice
to
just
all of you,
becomes
I
like 3
imagine.
times more shrill.
And as Lilith
Yes.
delivers that weird bombshell, and Magdalena lounges in a very nice bath as they're cleaned in the morning, having drank plenty of blood and enjoyed themselves throughout the evening with their lover Archibald. That's what we're going to call tonight. So we'll go around, get each of you to tell us who you are, tell us your favorite moment, tell us something you're working on if you are, and we will then call the session for the night. So we'll start the opposite way, as we will start with Delilah.
Oh, okay. Hi. Favorite part of the session. Oh God. Again, really, really well done. Again, GM, like, mwah, well done. There's a lot of parts that I could really pick. I mean, I love that crossover over there. Like, beautiful. Yeah, I got to meet Lilith. That's me fangirling, but dramatics. I think it's seeing Magdalena fall to the dark side. That was good. You know, Tilly is like righteous as ever, and that was amazing. Yeah, just everything and every single person went through little bits of just like sinking deeper into that bog, I think is what really got to me, and that was you guys are just so amazing. As for who I am Loria Lark, or Lark Loria on Twitter. You can usually find my Insta at Twitter. These days I'm not so active because I've been kind of sucked right into Heaven's Word of Final Fantasy XIV, and also I'm trying my hand dabbling at bardic songs. I'm trying to compose and do things, and it's going as smoothly as creative things go. So like in circles and loops, and it's a journey. So you'll hear from me eventually.
Brilliant. So we'll move over to Magdalena DeVille. Magdalena, what was your favorite moment?
Oh my gosh, my hands, I don't know if you can see them, but they're all trembly from just how much tonight's session was. Oh my gosh, so good. So good. Oh, so much corruption. I think, based on how the vote's going in chat, this is going to be the most corruption she's had all campaign.
Quite the session.
Magdalena, I know, right? It's fitting at this point. But oh my goodness. So, favorite parts, Tilly getting mad. That doesn't happen often. That was interesting. I loved everything about the doctor. Just him dropping eaves and taking notes I adored it. I want just an episode where Dr. Varrock's just a fly on the wall and we get to hear his thoughts about all of the scenarios happening. I want a Dr. Varrock for every game I'm in to just take notes, because that was brilliant. I love Delilah and her gossip. That was amazing. But also, for those of you who don't know, I'm going to go over my corruptions in chat. I have the affliction Cursed and Disillusion, because one of my impediments is malignity, which means I started off with 2 different corruptions. So Cursed means things go wrong for everyone around me, and Disillusion means everything I want to do goes wrong. So Magdalena just had a rough life. Just nothing goes right for her or the people around her. She feels like a bit of a curse. So for goals to actually be achieved or to seem achievable is a big weird new thing for her. And she also, her other greatest weakness is sadist, superstitious, and vampire and like infectious bite. So she really struggles hard with that line between humanity and vampire, and the 2 greatest weaknesses of her life happen to be a bit more on the bloodthirsty side of vampires. So it'll be real interesting to see how it continues on from here. I think when she visits Cooper, she might realize everything she's done this past evening, and it'll all kind of weight of everything come crashing down, because she was leaning way more into humanity, because chat was keeping her corruption down. So I'm really excited for this journey. I love that the airship finally got here from our other campaign. That was great. And I cannot wait for more. Just thank you so much. This was my brain's gonna be going 100 miles a minute for like
Brilliant.
the
And
rest.
whilst it's going 100 miles a minute as well, whilst we're on you, because it's perfectly timed,
Oh.
you gain another corruption as chat has deemed you corrupted.
You pretty much unanimously. I figure that's
Unanimously, pretty much.
we
Yeah. I think there was a couple other votes, but yeah, like 5 votes for corruption for
now
you. So
I have
unfortunately,
a
Magdalena.
total of 5 corruption spread between 2 different afflictions.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So,
So I was at the minimum, which was 2 when I started, which is probably a good thing.
and as you grow ever closer to going beyond the pale after your acts this evening, of which the reality will crash down next session,
Oh yeah, that'd
we'll
be
move
great.
over to Tilly Griffiths. Thank you for playing.
Hello, I've been Tilly Griffiths playing the very, not a happy chappy detective at the minute. Her entire country is being attacked on all fronts, and it's not very fun. I think one of my favorite parts of the session, I think actually was Gloria's acting towards the ghosts. Well done for keeping that up and sort of playing along with that. It was just a really, like, compared to everything else, it wasn't a humorous moment, but it was one of those sort of pull you out and let you breathe, even though there's another scary thing going on, which I just really appreciated, because the rest of this session was a trip. Oh, and obviously the little chat in bed about dating the devil, because what else would you talk about on your first sleepover? Yeah. Lindy, what the hell? Can't believe you.
I couldn't find a good enough reason not to, honestly. I tried.
It's okay. Tilly might kill you if she can, but it's fine.
Have to see.
We'll have to see.
Still, thank
But
you
yeah.
very much for playing.
Thank you. And thank you to chat. You've been great today. And the rating was
Been amazing
very
as usual.
impressive. Yeah, thanks.
Okay, and last but certainly not least, the man who everything is going up lucky, Dr. Baruch. You're about to get arrested. Sean has been electrotherapied and brainwashed. Magdalena is a queen of blood now, apparently. We're getting towards that goal. But your breakfast is good.
And Lowell Scientific Society has threatened everyone and everything.
Everything we
in-
love.
Yes. Yeah. Whew. So again, it's the second just mind-blowing episode in a row. So, Magdalena being able to play Lilith was great because I'm a fan of Britannia by Gaslight, a fantastic show. If any of you out there have not seen it, see it. That's fantastic. The Doctor is very torn. Again, I liked the fact that you made the wallpaper thin and could hear. That added a lot to the evening and stuff. So that was beautiful. Other favorite parts, other than, again, I always GM it because, wow, without you pushing the buttons, we wouldn't be able to be who we are. But Lark Gloria had, you had some beautiful moments. The haunting, because sometimes we forget that you're not Lady Berkeley, that you have just craziness going on. You're mixed up with the mob. You're an American. I love the wheedling of Tilly, about everything. Early on in chat, I said, I thought for sure you were gonna blatantly ask her if she was still a virgin or not. And I was just like, oh my God, is she gonna, is that what you, and you turned on me at the last second. I was like, oh, okay. And then bam, that bomb got dropped anyway. So it was just fantastic. Yeah. And then, of course, Humbledore, wow, real tears. I love when a game gets me like that. It's beautiful to see. It was fantastic. Tilly being the so Tilly is like the white part of the yin and yang, and Delilah is the dark part of the yin and yang, and Lady Berkeley and Dr. Varuk are the dots. And we're just kind of like, swimming. The doctor has this dark part, but he wants to believe, and he wants to follow Tilly and protect her, but yet he understands what what Magdelena is going for. It's just such a great game. I love you all. So, and I'm very, very
Thank you very much.
Look me up on Twitter. I got a schedule. I play a lot of games.
Brilliant. And with that, thank you very much to my wonderful cast. You're all amazing. I'm going to send you to the void now. They're all gone. Don't worry, it's just us here now. But thank you very much, everybody, for watching. It's been an amazing experience as usual. We'll be back next week with the next episode, and we're running up towards our finale. In the future, you've got a while yet with us as we tell the ending of this tale of these investigators. But thank you, everybody, for tuning in tonight. You've all been wonderful. Definitely come in and tune in for the next days and pretty much every day for any of Encounter Roleplay shows. They're all amazing. And I'm a Hollowtail. You can find me on YouTube at youtube.com/Hollowtail, where I do loads of different RPG stuff. Come and check it out. Come and say hello in the comment sections. Go and check out Tales from a Hollow World. It's my half-an-hour, very drama-focused audio drama through the format of RPGs. Go and check it out. It's fun. If you like dark fantasy, go and check it out. And aside from that, you've all been amazing. And thank you very much for tuning in today. And before we leave, I'm going to quickly go onto the correct screen here. And I'm going to leave you with a little song that we had done for us by the brilliant Noir Enigma to play out our evening today. So, hope you have all a good rest tonight. And beware what goes bump in the dark. It might be Magdelena coming in. Good night, everybody.
Unhallowed, unhallowed. Unhallowed, unhallowed. The story of some friends investigating mysterious happenings in Metropolis, and the frights and the spooks don't stop, and they gotta deal with Chicken Boy and Great Pound while protecting all the family and friends. New enemies and old keep attacking them, and everything's fighting for their attention. And there's a deity called the Great Bach that I mentioned. Unhallowed, unhallowed.